on loops. Nope, don't loop it. Don't you dare. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm starting off the show with a cough drop because my throat is sore. So I'm just going to get the cough drop going at the beginning and not suffer later. So anyway, Art says, my mustache is rainbow. That's very exciting. I love that. Fragged Locust, in response to the title of this stream, says, I make food and forget it in the microwave. Nice. Yeah. I've only recently become a tea drinker in the first place, and it took very little time for me to go from a tea drinker to a person who leaves my tea in the kitchen completely full, having not drank any of it. So, yeah, anyway, hi. My name's Luxander. We're here to chill and talk about kind of whatever for 3 or 4 hours today. Kitty says, here but running outside for the chainsaw. Yeah, coming in and out. Oh, yeah, have fun. Yeah, it seems like a good weather day for it. We've got this like cold front thing happening in the Willamette Valley, like up, obviously up through Portland and everything, but it's been remarkably cool after having scared me a little bit. It scared me a little bit. It was like, oh my God, it's already in the 80s. Like, I didn't realize it was going to be just like fucking Kansas, where it's in the 80s in April and fucking May, but it's cooled back down. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think this is what's normal here this time of year. It's normal for it to be in the 60s and a little overcast and a little bit rainy here and there. And that's what I'm here for. So I'm happy to, be getting to experience that. And that when it gets warm here, and it will, but it only does it for a couple days at a time. I feel like that's a little bit more tolerable. So if there's like a couple days at a time where I'm like, okay, I need to do a little bit more to make sure I don't overheat. Yeah. Leaving your tea in the kitchen is actually one of the requirements to being a tea drinker. Okay, well, good to know that I am on track. Hi, Drea. Hi, Dream Landing. Welcome to the website. By the way, I'm not really expecting today's stream to be particularly bumpin' because I'm not going to put like a clickbait title on. The title is, this is a cozy stream about a dumbass who doesn't remember things. And so if people come in and they want to hang out, that's great. But I'm not expecting it to be particularly bumpin'. So, yeah, we're just going to kind of do our thing. But for those of you who don't know, this is my website chat. It's not Twitch. If you're on YouTube and you want to come hang out in this chat, you can. I still read YouTube chat. It's already above 100 in parts of Texas. Oh! Ow. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. It's 82 here in Florida, plus all the humidity. Woo-woo. Also, I do think that even when it's hot here, it's less humid here. That's the impression that I've gotten from like Google, which seems weird because we're closer to sea level. So I would expect it to be more humid here, like closer to the ocean. And it's like really rainy here, and it's like not particularly rainy in Kansas. I mean, it is sometimes, but yeah, I guess in Kansas they just operate with a like higher baseline of humidity. And then when it rains, it's like even more humid. So the wet bulb temperature thing happens more often in Kansas too. I don't miss Texas for many reasons. Yeah, fair. Yes, Drea suggests that you all remember to hit like on YouTube, which I support and appreciate. Yes. Always remember to hit the like button on YouTube. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. It immediately shows the show to more people. And frankly, I'm trending continuously in a direction where I don't want to talk about this kind of politics, trans shit as much anymore. So the more people we get here on the days where I just talk about whatever, the better it is, because that means that we'll start to grow an audience that wants me to talk about stupid bullshit and doesn't care about trans politics. Anyway, so that's, y'all, I have spent, so here's how my week has gone, the past week or so, just to give you like a little picture of what's been going on in my life. I've been writing a cover letter and resume, which I think is done now, except that my co-host, Josie Caballero, on the Transatlantic Call-In show, I've sent her my cover letter, and I'm like, hey, if you have time to look this over, then please feel free to give me feedback. But as far as I'm concerned, my cover letter and resume are finished. And then as of this morning, I have finished the like they said like, okay, we want this to be a PDF of 10 pages. So you have your cover letter, resume, and references. And then I have like 7 pages that I could fill with like examples of my social media posts or my writing or whatever. So I basically I only ended up including like 5 pages of examples. Even though I have 7, I'm like, I feel like I'm capping out. I would get repetitive at that point. I created a sample of like oh my gosh, thank you Puggles for the 199 Australian. Thank you so much. I will not I will be on Takis this week. I believe it's going to be me and Arden. So for those of you who are joining from the Line audience, Transatlantic Call-In show, I will be on Thursday this week and Thursday next week. Dyke Science, great name, love it. Welcome to the website. Hello. It's drier here in the summertime because the wind tends to shift from coming off the ocean to more of a north-south. Okay, we're right around the point where the jet stream tends to buckle in summertime, causing heat bubbles to form. Oh, okay, interesting. I did remember to bring my tea in here. I have my tea in here. I remembered. It was like right before I made the live stream event that I was like, God damn it. I went into the kitchen for something completely not even the tea. And then I was like, I made tea and left it on the counter. Like I did the ritual of making the tea and I just kind of completely forgot it in the counter. Anyway, thank you. Oh, Puggles, again, with a gifted membership to Cursed Chaos. Hell yes. Amazing. Thank you so much. I don't know if the memberships get counted in the same way, but I try to count them in the same way. So we'll say that that's $6.29 for today's stream so far. Our stream goal, as usual, is $100. And I'm wearing a white tank top right now. And I'll take off my hoodie and I'll flex my muscles. Or I'll go get the cat. The cat is somewhere. That mug is gay. What? How could you possibly say that? My mug is gay and goth. Thank you very much. Anyway, I long for the word when trans and politics is no longer practically a compound word. God, no shit. I agree. Yeah, so oh my gosh, Puggles. I appreciate the super sticker of the corgi. That's very cute. I think it takes a minute for it to pop up over here, but thank you. Don't forget, so all of you people who just came in, this is a me dicking around stream. Hi, I'm trans. I talk about trans politics, but today I'm not talking about that very much today. And anyway, hit the like button. And even if you're about to leave, hit the like button before you leave, because maybe someone else will see the stream who does want to hang out with us. True. Jedi Master Abby says, every time y'all like the stream, Donald Trump loses a golf ball. He loses a golf ball directly into a crocodile's mouth. That's true. Goth mugs are epic. Yeah. I think this is my only mug that I would consider like a goth mug. She's cute though. She's a little pastel goth. We love it. Gayoth. True. Puggles, again, with another super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, I put some... I did cover letter, got resume. I'm applying for a job in an environmental nonprofit, by the way. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to continue streaming to the extent that that's possible for me working a full-time job on top of that. But cover letter, resume. I made a mock social media post. I just went and looked for like, what was a recent event that they put on? And then I was like, okay, I'll make a graphic and a short text and be like, okay, this is a sample Instagram post, as though I were making an Instagram post to advertise this event for this nonprofit. Then I included one of my shorts from my channel with a transcript, one of the shorts from the line of me talking and the transcript. Then I posted a poem that I wrote. And then just for fun, a couple pictures I took when I went to the beach, basically to show like, when I take photos, here's the artistic eye that goes into me taking photos, because me doing videography would be part of the job. So anyway, that's kind of the professional thing that I've been focusing on this week. I have a Darth Vader mug. Does that count as goth? Totally. I've been playing a shit ton of Stardew Valley. I I'm watching The Last of Us because episode 5 just came out, which is very exciting stuff. Um, really, really cool things got introduced this week, so I'm very excited. There's only 2 more episodes, so I'm like, oh no, my favorite show. There's only 2 more episodes. There's only 2 more weeks of me getting to consume content related to it. Because I do think that people, like, there's just a lot of spoiler territory. Because The Last of Us, the second game, The Last of Us Part 2, is being split into 2 TV series. So, 2 seasons. So you have season 1, which corresponded with game 1, and then season 2 is going to be like half of the second game, and then season 3 is going to be the other half of the second game. So it would still be kind of hard to consume content about The Last of Us Part 2 without spoiling myself on what's going to happen in season 3. So I am kind of feeling like I only have 2 weeks remaining to get to watch content that is directly related to this season and that isn't going to go into spoilers of future events in season 3. So yeah, spring and early summer for primetime television. And we're going to get A Night of the Seven Kingdoms later this year, I think. I'm not entirely sure how excited I am about that, just because it's yet another thing in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. Like, that doesn't make it necessarily good. Like, not a guarantee that it's going to be good. I'm more looking forward to House of the Dragon season 3, but whatever. We'll get there. Collectively. Did I already say that your Darth Vader mug certainly counts as goth? There's no way it doesn't count as goth. Unless you want to make the argument that it counts more as emo, because Darth Vader is a very emo character, really, in retrospect. So let me... the one gifted membership that Puggles sent in, plus the stickers, brings us up to $9.50 for today's stream. $9.50 United States currency. Thank you so much. Ooh, I really enjoy the idea that I'm not required to talk about anything serious today. I still will talk about things that are serious, but I'm like, girl, I don't have to do anything today. Darth Vader is a sellout. What? Spring and early summer and fall, primetime skirt and dress season for me. Ooh, okay, so I'm wearing a skirt. I'm wearing a skirt that has a lot of excess fabric. I think that this skirt is like a salsa skirt. Like, I think it's for dancing salsa. By the way, this is still just the left side of the skirt. Like, I guess I'm starting to get kind of behind me now, but like, let's go back. Let's get back to the center. Okay. Nope, not back to the center yet. Okay, that's kind of the center front. And now let's start going the other direction. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a salsa skirt. I love that pattern and color combo. Thank you. I got this at a thrift store. And now I'm kind of around the back, the other side. So you can see there's an enormous amount of fabric in this skirt, and I like it. And it's got this, like, it's one of these bands that has the, like, it's, like, super stretchy, so it fits even when I'm fat, like right now. Definitely skirt season, yeah. And so one of the other major things that I do all the time is, like, try to figure out how to manage my health. And especially with this job that I'm applying to, it will require me to go hiking. Because, like, I'm trying to get a job at a nonprofit that does political activism, not like sit-ins and stuff like that. Thank you, Puggles and Cursed Chaos, for the super stickers. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So this nonprofit, it does, like, they, like, sue organizations for harming the environment, and they lobby to get certain laws passed and things like that. So it's like, it's a political organization, but they host like events. So there might be like, oh, if they're trying to protect this specific landmark, they'll have a hike there. So as the social media person, I would be expected to, like, provide coverage of those events. So, like, I would also need to go hiking, which has me concerned about the prospect of like, am I going to physically overheat before other people would? That's one of the core problems about my disability. So I'm actually going to go looking today, or my plan was to go looking today for like cooling clothing. Like you can get a vest that is to cool you down, and you can get special towels that like retain moisture for very long. And I did not know about this before. Okay, so compression garments. I knew about compression garments, but oh my gosh, thank you in the YouTube chat. I will get to you in just a second. Thank you. So compression garments help people with POTS because it basically helps improve our blood flow and prevent blood pooling. So like I have compression socks that I wear pretty much most of the days right now, and those help like prevent blood from pooling in my legs. They like force the blood to flow back up out of my legs. And that's something that helps people with my condition. So I knew also about the existence of compression leggings. So I was like, I don't really want to wear full compression leggings because that would be really hot, it seems like. But they make compression shorts that give you abdominal compression and compression down the legs. But like, then you would have the option of like wearing a skirt over your compression shorts or something. So I really am excited to go looking into these things. And yeah, there's supposed to be like special shirts that are cooling, like UPF protectant and cooling. Like, I don't actually think moisture wicking is good for me. I think the more moisture stays on me, the cooler I can stay. Because if you wick the sweat away, then there's like the cooling down effect doesn't work as easily. There are times where I'll just like pour water on my head and on my clothing because I'm too hot. Out at events and things like this, like at Renaissance Festival last year. So, yeah, is a difficult balancing act. But I'm gung ho. I'm so ready. I want to go hiking. I want to get like the right, frankly, from fucking top to bottom, from base layer all the way up. They make underwear that's supposed to keep you cool, and I'm like, damn. There's definitely been times where like I take off my shirt and I'm like, I'm still hot. And then I take off my bra and I'm like, oh, now I feel better. So it's like from your underclothes all the way in, like, if as a person with POTS, you have to have like a bunch of light layers. The sweat evaporating is what's cooling you. Yeah, but if you don't sweat enough, like I don't sweat enough, I don't think. I just become beet red and start overheating. But I'm gonna experiment with some different things. Yes, compression socks fans in the YouTube chat. Mira's got compression socks because of edema. Puggles is wearing compression socks today. Yes. I find bras particularly capture and hold sweat. Yeah, and I mean, I don't even have any regular bras that fit. I have one bra that's like a cute bra. And I've gained like 20 pounds since I bought that bra, and I can't wear it anymore. So I only have sports bras. And sports bras are all made out of like plastic, and it holds in a lot of heat. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and take off the hoodie. I'm already getting warm. Ooh. There we go. My white tank top. Woke up from a nap. Hell yeah. Maybe I need to look into compression socks. Listen, I don't think, as far as I know, there aren't any health risks to wearing compression socks. Let me get those donations counted up. So we have $8.24 from the super stickers, and then $10 from the memberships, because I think those convert to USD. So $18.24 for today's stream so far. I've been working on shoulder stability exercises recently. So there's this one that I do where I'm not like lifting or anything. I'm just like holding above my head and like pulling a resistance band in between. Feels good. My compression socks were prescribed by my doctor. I feel like my doctor probably mentioned compression socks. My relationship with my doctor is so loosey-goosey because he has a concierge service where I pay I pay like a monthly subscription for access to him. And so he's basically like, I haven't done any official testing on you, but it sounds based on your description like you have POTS. So here are the things that you can do that will help treat POTS. His number one thing was like increase your intake of salt by up to like 10 milligrams per day, or sorry, 10 grams per day. And I'm sure he mentioned compression socks. So it's like my doctor mentioned it, but they're not technically prescribed. But yeah, if you're retaining fluids in your limbs, that would scare the shit out of me. If I was like really visibly retaining fluids in my limbs, I would be like, oh, is this heart failure? Am I dying? Is that what it's time for now? Knowing the symptoms of things is a real drag. Like, if I didn't know the symptoms to these things, would I be anywhere near as anxious as I am on a daily basis? Like, I'm like looking for things. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Let's get this hair down and see what that looks like today. Ooh, it smells good. I just showered my hair yesterday. I cleaned my hair, and it smells like my deep conditioner mask. It's crazy how when your hair gets curly, it suddenly seems a lot shorter. Yay. Oh gosh. All right. Well, what's going on this week that we can chit chat about? It's like, what's going on going into this weekend? I've got Takis tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can submit this job application thing within the next couple days. If Josie gets around to looking at it. If she doesn't get around to looking at it before like Saturday, I'll probably just send it in on Saturday and be like, I feel pretty good about my judgment of how good it is. And like, I think I did a pretty good job of putting together this resume. And I feel pretty highly qualified. And I also think that anybody out there who's trying to get into a social media position at a nonprofit, I suspect is going to be somebody who is like younger than me and likely like in college or just out of college. And I'm assuming that I'm like probably going to be one of the more qualified candidates, if there are even multiple candidates. Like, I'm genuinely like so I had a conversation with these two women who work at a conservation agency, and they were like, you know, you could go into social media for some organization, whatever, and it so happened that that very same night I saw the post from the organization that I'm looking at now. And so it's genuinely like so serendipitous that I do not know if like I do not know if there are even going to be any other applicants, much less an applicant that's nearly as experienced as I am with writing, with progressive politics. Like, I'm 31. I like, this starts for me, my like political activism and shit starts when I moved to a rural school that didn't have a gay straight alliance, and I started a gay straight alliance there. That's the kind of bitch that I am. And then like when I was 18 or 19, I started blogging for a feminist science blog. And then I eventually had my own blog at The Orbit, which frankly I didn't really do a lot with. But like, I've been doing this for like half my lifespan. I've been doing communications related to social justice movements and politics and understanding the law and renewable energy and all this kind of shit. So I feel like I'm pretty qualified for this position, and I'm going to be having a hard time thinking about anything else for a few weeks here. Rehydration is key. True. Drink water. Hail, hydrate, my loves. You gotta drink water. Be good. I've also been having like allergies that are like, the inside of my nose feels dry, but it's also super inflamed and congested. So I'm like, I can't breathe through my nose, basically, is what it's coming down to. So if I seem out of breath, it's because I like can't breathe through my nose. Probably need to get like a daily allergy med or something. I think I had one, but I still am finding things from when I moved. Like, there are still unboxed or Yeah, I mean, unboxed packages, I guess, is probably the easiest way to phrase that. Bananas are mentioned. Oh no. Oh, I've been using banana oil as a or as a hair mask. Oh, okay, that's nice. I don't even remember. I bought a brand of hair mask that has whatever chemical they use to make it smell reminds me of like Playtex scented tampons. It's the weirdest thing. Like if I walk into my bathroom after I've done a hair mask like this, I have a moment where I'm like, why does it smell like tampons in here? Orthodontist appointment tomorrow. Ooh, are you getting a tooth removed? Why are you going to orthodontist? Adult braces. I had braces when I was a kid, and I don't think you can really tell. Like, I had braces, and then it turned out that my wisdom teeth were impacted. So, like, my mom paid like $3,000 for me to have braces, and like made my dad pay for part of it through the custody agreement. But like, she should have waited until after it was obvious or not whether I was going to have impacted wisdom teeth. So I've just like my wisdom teeth in the bottom are just like pushing my teeth forward, which is why I have crowding in the front now. Flying foxes eating bananas is pretty cute. That's true. I wonder if I could find any footage of that. Oh, do you have braces and you're going to the orthodontist? Ooh, okay. Just a little checkup, a little tightening or whatever you got to do. Bat eating banana. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get caught out for this, but we're gonna do it for a second anyway.
So,
Nom 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 nom. Banana. Look at your goofy ass face. Nom 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 nom. Okay, that's it. I don't know if I sent bat vids on Feed the Dragon. I know I sent some animals. Yeah, I haven't looked in Feed the Dragon in a little bit. Is there any new stuff in there? When was the last one? Oh, okay. So the last post I see in here is from April 5th. I mean, not the last post, but like the newest one that I haven't seen yet. Not the newest one. It's like, okay, so April 5th, April 8th, blah blah blah. What I'm saying is I haven't looked at this since early April. But we have some posts in there. So we might take a minute and look at those. We have a thing in the Discord server where you can post like pictures of your pets or like pictures of your food or pictures of your garden or whatever. Just like nice things for me to react to. And it's called Feed the Dragon. It's like ostensibly I am deciding like, oh, is the food that you shared tasty looking? Do I accept your animal sacrifice? These kind of things, you know? I used to make those plaster models of your teeth for an orthodontist working in his lab. Ooh, fun. Gross, a little bit, but fun. Oh, the alligator from Happy Gilmore just passed away. Oh, that's crazy. Y'all remember Happy Gilmore and the alligator, right? Would you also accept nature walk photography? Absolument. Yes, absolutely. Please. Batana oil, not banana oil. Okay, cool. Okay, gotcha. I have a black cherry scented candle. It reminds me of food. I think I also have a black cherry scented candle. I'm not sure that it really reminds me of food. I just think it smells fresh. It smells fresh and fruity. I only had 3 wisdom teeth, all impacted. They didn't deal with it when I had insurance, and I ended up paying $1,600 to get them out. Dude, so my dad went to take me to get my wisdom teeth removed after I was done with my braces. Oh my god, why am I hiccuping and burping? Fucking shut up. Oh my god. So I was gonna get my wisdom teeth removed when I was a teenager. At the time, they were floating, like they hadn't even developed root systems yet, but we could tell that they were gonna be impacted. So my dad went to have me take them out, but years and years and years prior to that, my dad had been working for a company that was in the process of going out of business, but they weren't telling their employees that. And one of the things that they did was they continued collecting the employee's contribution toward the health insurance. So like, let's say your health insurance costs $400 a month, but if you pay 200 of it, then your boss will pay 200 of it, right? Obviously, like it would be a better perk if your employer was covering all of it because they can write it off on their taxes, but whatever. So for the last few months that my dad worked at this place, he was paying for insurance, but the business had canceled the insurance. So he thought like he was getting dental work that he thought was covered. And then when he went to take me to get my dental work done, they like wouldn't do it because he owed them money from his company canceling the insurance, like literally more than a decade prior, or maybe about a decade prior. And like, I guess my dad just didn't fucking find a different orthodontist. So we just didn't have it done. Like, I don't really know why there was never any movement on that. If it's like, yeah, I need to get my fucking wisdom teeth removed. Not entirely sure why. My dad completely dropped the ball on a lot of things as a parent. You know, it turns out just because he wasn't overtly abusive to me like my mom was doesn't mean he was a good parent. So now I'm an adult and this wisdom tooth is impacted in a way where it's actually erupted and there's like a space between one tooth and the other tooth. Like, okay, so this is my tooth in front of it and the crown is like pointing up. It's like correct, right? Behind it, this wisdom tooth is coming out and it's like this. It's like butting up against this tooth. But there are spaces here where I have to like dig in there and like push food out of it so that food doesn't just like sit in between these two teeth, like stuck in here in the crown of this tooth. But it's still like this part of it is like covered by my gum, right? So that part that I would require like a little bit more than just a straight up tooth extraction. We would have to cut into the gum to remove that tooth and it would have to be all fucking sideways and shit. Irritating. These two, not a problem at all. They're impacted, but they're underneath the surface. They don't seem to be, there's no pain. They're not bothering me at all. This one up top here, I had to have removed because it was at an angle like this into my cheek. So you can see how it would be kind of hard to clean up here as it's like, it's literally like smushed against my cheek. And also there was still space up here above the tooth against my cheek. So it was like up here, like for a long time, I didn't even know that there was stuff stuck up there. So this tooth ended up breaking. And I was like, okay, now there's like a sharp edge against my cheek. So I had it pulled. It just yoinked. I had it pulled out. So that was fun. That's the one tooth I've had pulled in my adulthood. I relate to the stream title so hard. Yes, my tea is cold now, but we're still going to drink it. Oh, mistake. There was a little bit of a leaf. This is the thing about loose leaf tea is I don't have like tea bags. I have like I just have like a metal thing that's in two parts and it kind of ties together, but there's like holes in it where the water can come through. Again, it's not like a tea bag where it's like a solid but kind of tightly woven fabric or whatever it is. So yeah, sometimes there's just fucking loose leaf bullshit in my tea. So you got to be careful to not like stir it and then immediately take a drink. You got to let that stuff settle to the bottom. True, Ember. Yes, an infuser. I think infuser is the word. Tea, you put your loose leaf tea inside of it. I don't have like a really high quality one. Do we want to do a Feed the Dragon segment? Do enough of you have like pictures and stuff that you want to share from your life experiences? OMG, there's like 38 viewers and only 31 likes. I realize that for some people, this dumb bullshit stream is not what you're here for, but hit the like button anyway, because maybe somebody else wants to hear it. Go to the YouTube page, click the like button. And like I'm not lying to you. Literally, when we get like 5 likes on the video at one time, it like there immediately are like 4 more people who join the stream because YouTube takes likes to mean, oh, I need to show this to more people. And it's a little bit more obvious during a live stream. I don't know how it works. I don't think it works the same way for YouTube videos, but for live streams, this is how it works. Loose leaf tea is where it's at. I know, I love it. Ugh, I love loose leaf tea. I just love tea, it turns out. I didn't expect this to happen to me. Dumb bullshit streams just so happen to be my favorite. Banana brains, you and me. Same brain. I love that everybody is now sharing their little, it's like, oh, this is how I make my tea. This is my tea infuser. This is how I steep my tea. I love that. So that's totally true. Noah points out, I've heard of a place near the border, I assume you mean the Mexican border, where people go to get cheap dental work done. Apparently it's a big thing to travel internationally there for getting US-trained dentistry without paying ADA prices. It's called medical tourism when people go to another country to get medical care there specifically. So medical tourism from the United States to Mexico for dental work specifically is very common. And like, I think that television has done us a disservice by making us feel like, oh, you know, Mexico is like a third world country practically. But like, no, they have state-of-the-art hospitals. They have all of these things, you know. They have well-trained, and it's cheaper. I don't actually know if it would be cheaper for me at this point to go to Canada for healthcare. Like, is there such a thing as medical tourism for dentistry in Canada? Because I live a lot closer to Canada. I don't really want to drive through California to get to Mexico. It doesn't really sound like fun. Either I get to see a dentist or my kids get to see a dentist. Simply cannot afford both. Jesus Christ. Yeah. America. Fuck yeah. That's like one of the things about applying for this environmental job is like, it's a really good salary and they have, I think, health and dental. I'm like, oh my God. I can't tell you how much I want to have fucking health insurance. I need some medical tourism for GRS since doctors in the US are too afraid to return calls, apparently. Yeah, Ember, that was actually something that I was thinking about when I was talking. Like, obviously, the more common thing is medical tourism to Mexico for dentistry, but trans people do medical tourism for sex reassignment surgery. It's like, it's a whole fucking thing where it's like, yeah, I went to this doctor in Thailand. I can't remember his name, but there's like 1 or 2 maybe major medical providers of gender reconstructive surgery in Thailand. So yeah, it's super common and it's typically less expensive, including paying for you to stay in the country for your follow-up aftercare bullshit. Like, it's literally cheaper to travel around the world, go to their hospital, stay in that country for several weeks, and then fly back than it is to just get surgery done in the United States. The UK is the same as the US now for dentistry. Really? Do y'all like go to France or something for you like go to Spain for, that would be very funny if it was the correlation of like UK to Spain and then like America to Mexico. Is your nah referring to Canada, Noah? Where it's like where you don't really do medical tourism to Canada, but Mexico and South Korea are big ones. Salaries for the Roman payments of salt. Puggles, I love your little historical knowledge there. I don't know if you all know this. This is dumb facts story hour time with Luxander. Salt. The etymology of the word salt goes back to the word sal, or like a similar word in Latin. And so originally a salary is what basically it's like part of the payment, or maybe even a large part of the payment that the Roman soldiers would get for being soldiers was a certain amount of salt per year. So a salary is literally like how much salt you get in a year as far as part of your payment. But yes, my my understanding is that I will be paid in US dollars. I met a guy who was going to Utah to get his vasectomy reversed because it's cheaper there. Oh, goodness gracious. That's interesting. Yeah, I would love to just get healthcare near where I live. Wouldn't that be a fucking insane thing? Like, imagine, yeah, like going to Thailand or India. Ember says in Thailand or India, it's literally more expensive to physically get there than the surgeries themselves actually cost, including the hotel stay while you were in the country. Is that where we get the phrase worth your salt? Probably. Yeah, probably. Although there's a lot of things in English where it's like you would think that those two words are related, but they're not. The Bastille. Thank you, Puggles. I appreciate that. The Bastille asks, you can get vasectomies reversed? I want to be completely clear about this. This is something that I'm very serious about. Vasectomies can be reversed in some cases, and only in the first couple of years after you get a vasectomy, really. If it's been longer than 10 years since you've had a vasectomy, the chances of you getting it reversed are very, very low, like a low chance of success on that, which is why I think we should be careful when we advocate, like, okay, we're dealing with this situation where abortion is being restricted, birth control is being limited, and I know that people want to be cheeky and say, like, well, what if we tried to pass a law that required men to get vasectomies? Okay. I just think that people need to understand that while they can be reversed, it is not necessarily a sure thing. However, you can have your sperm extracted directly out of your balls, and then you can do artificial insemination with your partner that way. So I used to think like, okay, we need to be careful around this because technically we are asking men to be willing to permanently risk their fertility, but it's not a permanent risk to their fertility. It's just a permanent risk to their ability to naturally conceive. They would still be able to have like the sperm extracted directly through an in-office procedure that's quite similar in invasiveness to a vasectomy. So it's, yeah, but we do need to be careful because it is like something that I know a lot of people, it is important for them to be able to naturally conceive. And if they knew that getting a vasectomy would damage their ability to do that later, like if they think that, oh, it's temporary and whatever, I'll just get it reversed in 20 years when I want to have a kid, like that's not necessarily the case. So I just think that we should be conscientious of that. But for the first couple years, yes, a vasectomy is reversible. Puggles, yeah, thank you. So there was another $1.50 Australian, bringing us up to a total of $19.20 USD for the stream today. Today is an active rest day. I've been working out. I've been overdoing it a little bit, frankly, but I'm trying to push my limits a little bit and see what I can accomplish. So today's active rest day. I'm not exercising. The most I'm doing today is like standing here to talk to you. Standing desks are fucking based also. I don't know if I've mentioned that recently. People end up having to pay for private dentistry in the UK because the National Health Service dentistry is practically non-existent in most places. Yeah, that is something that bothers me a little bit about portrayals of British people. Now, I want to be clear. I am very much on the page of like, it's funny to make fun of British people for being British. In a way that's like it's punching up at like a colonial power or whatever. But I do find it a little bit in poor taste to emphasize the poor dental health of people who are British or English or whatever, because it's literally like not your guys' fault that dentistry is not covered. It would be like if people started making caricatures and stereotypes of Americans where we have like seriously ailing health and like people using that as a point to make fun of us, like, oh haha, look at you America. I mean, we kind of do this actually, like, oh haha, you Americans are so fat, you're so lazy, whatever. Like, those are the direct result of us living in an imperial nation which denies us quality food, and also quality healthcare. So yes, of course, you end up with people who have like thyroid issues who can't lose weight, and hormone deficiencies, and simply a lack of income to access fresh foods. So like it's like a similar in poor taste where you're making fun of Americans for something that's mostly out of our control. And so it's a similar thing when people like make fun of the poor dental health of British people, is like, oh, okay, because you can't afford this thing that should be covered, we're going to make fun of you for it. I just don't like it. Nomadic says the real meme is making a law that says men are only allowed to conceive this way to save the sanctity of the sperm. What, that men are only allowed to conceive by having their sperm extracted directly from their balls? Like, you're not even allowed to have sex anymore? The Brutish Empire. Fucking true. Obesity is essentially a form of malnutrition. Literally, exactly. Okay, so I've been changing my diet recently. I'm switching to like a really high protein diet, which is why I have like these peanut butter cups, which are like, this is 2 grams of protein. That's why I bought them. I bought them because it's like a protein snack. I am so much less hungry. In fact, I'm like, am I really eating like more than I think I'm eating? Like, cause I've been full. I've been so full this week. But I'm eating like Greek yogurt and protein powder and powdered peanut butter, which is incredible. You can take powdered peanut butter and just reconstitute it with a little bit of water, and then it's basically peanut butter, but without the fat. So I've just been like so full. But when you eat shit, you are hungry more often, but you're eating like high calorie shit. Like, okay, if you eat 500 calorie blueberry muffin, okay, that's a blueberry muffin that's like this big, right? 500 calorie blueberry muffin. You're going to be hungry again in like 45 minutes because this does not satiate hunger. It doesn't have very much fiber. It's mostly sugar. Like, it provides energy, but it just doesn't provide energy for very long. Versus what I've been doing in the morning recently is I've been having my tea. So there's cream and honey in my tea. I always make sure to count that as part of my morning nutrition. Then I do Greek yogurt with a scoop of powder, protein powder, some of the protein peanut butter stuff, and then chia seeds, and then I'll squirt some Hershey's chocolate in there because I'm like, that kind of rounds it out. And that all together is like, okay, let me actually see the number for today, because I recorded my tea with the cream and the sugar, and I reported my whole breakfast. That's actually only 390 calories altogether, the way that I made it this morning. And it's been like it's 3 o'clock. So when did I eat that? It was like 11. It's been like 4 hours and I am not hungry. So it's like, yeah, these foods that make you feel satiated for longer, that actually help you hit those target macros where you're actually getting enough protein and you're actually getting enough other nutrients that you need. That shit is expensive. My grocery bill this week was $300, which is like double what it usually is, because I wanted to get a bunch of high protein options. And obviously, like, the can of protein powder it's like a $30 can of protein powder, but it's gonna last a few weeks at least. I don't actually know how much is in there, so I'm assuming it's gonna last at least a few weeks, assuming I'm eating it every day. But yeah, so yeah, basically to say obesity is a form of malnutrition, I think is broadly true for Americans, because we can afford bullshit food that's high calorie and not very filling, but it's harder to afford. And then when we try to get fresh stuff, like, this is a problem that we're having right now with the relaxed food safety standards, is that if I want to eat something that's fresh and more healthy, well, now there's a risk of getting listeria or E. coli or some other foodborne illness because our fresh foods are not being taken care of. and that we're like relaxing the safety standards in a way that is causing an increase in foodborne illness. So it's like you're fucked no matter what you do, kind of. So like, okay, can you afford to buy your fresh food at the farmer's market? Now we're at a completely different level of like shit at the farmer's market is expensive. So what do you do? There kind of doesn't feel like there's a good answer to any of this stuff. I really want to wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow and finish working on my garden plot. I just haven't been able to get out there. It's such a bummer having to like walk all the fucking way there. I love my air fried tater tot burritos in the morning, some cheese and chipotle hot sauce. Ooh, that sounds good. I considered getting my bottom surgery in Thailand. The problem is aftercare. Yeah, well, because you would need to stay in the country for at least a few weeks after, right? Or like, do they want you to stay for a full 6 weeks so that you can get a 6 week follow up? Because by that time, you're more or less healed. It cost me like $5,000 for my dental work in the US. Honestly, should have traveled. I don't think I've heard of medical tourism to Canada except for prescriptions. Yeah, totally, totally. Obesity in the US is a form of poor tax. That's an interesting way to think about it. I don't disagree with you reflexively in the sense that, like, yeah, a poor tax is essentially increased costs that you incur as a poor person. So, like, late fees are a poor tax, or bank overdraft fees are a poor tax. So, in the context of looking at what we can afford, and like the argument that I was just making, that we can afford bullshit options, but it takes more time and effort and money to cook something. You know, like, I don't even know how much I'm going to continue cooking if I start working a full-time job, just on the basis of like, I can't reserve energy during the day knowing that I'm going to cook later tonight. Like, I have to fucking do my job during the day. So I don't know if I'm going to continue making food as regularly as I do, but like, it's a thing that it costs money and it costs time, and you have to learn how to do it well. And a lot of the healthy options, a lot of people, like, the way that people make them is very bland. And I think also that we end up in this place where we like punish ourselves. Like, losing weight needs to be a punishment. But listen, okay, here's one of my other breakfasts. Oh, by the way, I was going to finish my thought. Obesity is a form of poor tax, also in the sense that, like, you end up having more medical costs as a result of eating shit food all the time because that's all you can afford. But making your food taste good, like, losing weight or trying to have a good diet should not be a punishment. You should not feel like you're castigating yourself for being overweight or whatever. So one of my other breakfasts that I've been making is I'll take either 1 or 2 pieces of toast, and I'll put like a layer of low-fat cottage cheese on there, and I'll sprinkle some ground flax seed on there. And then I'll cut up I like hard-boiled a bunch of eggs, and I just cut up some hard-boiled eggs and put it on top of there. Sounds really shitty, right? Toast, cottage cheese, hard-boiled eggs, flax seed. You know what the secret ingredient is? You know what makes it not only tolerable, but a delicious breakfast that I look forward to? It's hot sauce. Hot sauce has almost no calories, huge amount of flavor, delicious. So, like, yeah, put hot sauce on shit. You don't even have to get a really hot sauce. Get a mild hot sauce. Yeah, Drea says, if you're poor, you are forced into being obese, so the food and medical industries can then extract more money from you. True. Sugary drinks are evil. Totally. The sugariest thing I drink in a day, and like, I honestly think that this might be something that makes tea the better option than coffee, is like, it takes a lot less sweetener in tea to make it delicious, versus like with coffee, you're kind of counteracting a lot of these bitter flavors, so you need more sugar to offset it. But I consume very little sugary drinks. It's like, it's coffee or it's tea, and right now it's tea. Weird fact, you can make a seafood-like broth with pill bugs. I would need to look into again whether that's safe because it's been a long time since I looked into it because allegedly pill bugs, isopods, roly polies, they do, I think, remove heavy metals from the soil, which would mean that you shouldn't eat large quantities of them. But they are basically shrimp. They're just land shrimp. Hot sauce is sometimes helpful for digestion too. You know what else hot sauce is helpful for? Congestion. When you can't fucking breathe through your nose. Szechuan pepper sauce is a favorite of mine to add to eggs. Ooh, ah. There's this one called Seeing Double that is like my favorite to put on my eggs. But it's also like one of our milder sauces. So I haven't been wanting to use it as much because I want other people in my house to have the chance to eat it. This is from heatonist.com. We bought like the whole Hot Ones sauces, but this one is only number 2 on the lineup. So if you are familiar with the format of the show, they get more and more spicy. This is only number 2. Seeing Double hot sauce. It's really fucking good, and it's so good on eggs. That's the one that I'm like, every time I can smell this, oh my god, free shipping on order $75. Wow. Anytime I smell this hot sauce, I think of eggs because that's how I like to eat it. But the other one that I've been using more often because my partner doesn't like it. And it's a hotter hot sauce, and I'm trying to teach myself to like hotter hot sauces. Let me see if I can find it. Should be another one on the Heatonist website. Oh, I don't see it on here. Come on, dude. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at like the season 25 or whatever. Or is that considered a medium? Is that considered a medium hot sauce? It's considered a medium hot sauce on the First We Feast website here. This is the one that I've been eating with my breakfast recently. Habanero Sherry Koji. I don't know why my partner doesn't like this one, but it's good. Our first Hot One sauce from beautiful Barcelona. Onima is our first sauce maker from Catalonia, and their ILMIG Plus hot sauce has impressed us with its depth of flavor from simple ingredients. Habanero, this is number 6 in the lineup. Sherry vinegar, paprika and coriander. It's so good. Like, my mouth is watering. It's delicious. I love hot sauce. It's so good. I love wasabi for clearing sinuses. Yeah, I don't even know if we can get real wasabi. Like, it's very common that wasabi, quote unquote, in the United States is just horseradish that has been dyed green. Although horseradish does hit you in the nose the same way that, it does hit you in the nose the same way that wasabi does, but they're not the same. If sugary drinks are evil, call me Lex Luthor. Ever heard of a boom boom stick, Lux? Do you mean, have I ever heard of Ashley and his boom boom stick? Is this a serious question? Yes, of course I've seen fucking Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. I mean, maybe that's not a given. My dad was weird. My mom was also weird. The scene where the tree rapes a woman excited me, and I was way too young to know that that was something to be exciting to me. Anyway, catch me on Wednesdays for divulging things most people wouldn't admit under being waterboarded conditions. I love my secret Aardvark hot sauce made in Portland. Their original and their Chipotle sauce are staples in my home. I fucking love Chipotle. But that doesn't surprise me because I fucking love jalapeno, and Chipotle peppers are just roasted jalapeno peppers. They're so good. Chinese hot mustard? Ooh, I've never had Chinese hot mustard. It sounds really good, though. It's not super hot, but spicy Hungarian paprika is so good on eggs, often sprinkled on deviled eggs. Ooh! What makes it spicy? Because paprika, I thought most of the time was just red bell pepper that had been dehydrated. Or if it's like smoked paprika, then it's smoked red bell pepper that has then been dehydrated. What goes into a spicy Hungarian paprika? Chinese hot mustard and nugs? Ooh, that sounds delicious. Excuse me. Ah, I love food so much. But yeah, it's good that I can afford to randomly like pay an extra $150 for groceries because I've decided I want more filling high protein options. That is not an option that a lot of people who are worse off than I am have. Like maybe if it wasn't for the fact that I am so smart about dishes, or sorry, God, I always do this. I get dishes and groceries confused. Just the words. I know that the concepts are different. I don't know why the words get messed up in my brain. I'm usually so smart about grocery purchasing, and I don't buy shit that I don't need most of the time. So like, maybe that's part of why it's like less of a big deal to me to be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just gonna pay double the amount that I normally would for groceries to get these high protein options. But now I have them, and an entire fridge full. Okay, so in my fridge, there's like the two regular places in the door where like it's a normal depth of like 3 or 4 inches of like shit that you can put in there. And then as in most fridges, in the bottom of the fridge, there's like a drawer for vegetables or whatever, which obviously like that sticks out further. So in a lot of fridges, there's no additional shelf in the door when it gets close to the bottom. But my fridge has a little shelf on the bottom that's just wide enough for a bunch of fucking hot sauces. So like I just got to get way down in the fridge and I'm like, ooh, which hot sauce do I want? Like, ooh, I want this hot sauce. Peak. Paprika is our only Hungarian import word. That's a fun fact. I like that. Paprika is its own pepper. Hungarian tends to be hotter than from other regions. Oh, okay, cool. Nuvenal says horseradish tastes like Passover. I'm not familiar with that particular ritual. Mobius says, I've had a tin of super hot smoked paprika for like 25, 30 years because it's very hot. It's not losing potency after that much time. But also, like, level up, you know? Eat it more often. The more often you eat spicy things, the less spicy they actually are. What is Chairman Meow? No, don't add to my cart, you fucker. That's not what I wanted. I'm not buying anything today. Chairman Meow is only number 5 on the lineup, and this one smells so vinegary, it smells so good. Scorpion pepper hot sauce. Oh my god, I gotta stop. I love hot sauce so much, it's delicious. Get off my screen, get out of here. Trying to see if there's anything else going on that we should talk about. I always like at least glance around at Blue Sky to see if there's anything amusing. Hello, Mabs. You know, it's funny that you just popped in, Mabs, because I was just about to comment on how funny I am. I'm sure that I've tweeted this before. I think that I've tweeted this before, but I think it's funny, the idea of getting a friend with trypophobia to go morel hunting with you. Like morel mushrooms, and so trypophobia is the thing where you're afraid of like holes. Like a bunch of holes next to each other. Let me see if I can find like a good... Oh, those are all terrible. I hate them. Okay, so trypophobia, these kind of like circles all next to each other freak you out. All right, triggers a strong sense of disgust, perhaps, rather than a sense of fear. So maybe calling it a phobia isn't right, but it's like a strong sense of revulsion that you get from closely packed holes, okay? This is what morel mushrooms look like. So I just think that maybe there might be some overlap where a person who has trypophobia might really notice morel mushrooms. And so I think it would be funny and also lucrative, potentially, to have a friend with trypophobia go mushroom hunting with you, because they would be their eyes would just be like, shoo, keen. You would not be able to, it would be like a spider in the corner of your vision, you know? When you see a spider and you're like, because there's something evolutionary about it that's just like, I need to know that there's a spider there. I view it as a similar thing. Get trypophobia. Strong sense of revulsion still fits phobia. Okay, cool. But yeah, I just think it would be funny. And it's not just funny. It also is like, yeah, I think that we would both, like, I would split. You have to have a special license to sell things that you foraged. But if I got a license, if I got enough morel mushrooms in one season to have a license to sell it, it's like $50 a pound for morel mushrooms. Oh, and by the way, they're hollow. So the inside of that mushroom, hollow. So 50 pounds, or sorry, 1 pound for $50, like, you're making out pretty good. Closely packed holes. I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere. Yeah, you, Drea, and Mickey both have, alluded to there's a joke somewhere with closely packed holes. You got to get, it's like, I think it's a double penetration joke. They're closely packed because you've got more than one thing in there. I don't know. I'm trying to workshop this thing live. I never said I was a good improv comedian. Have you tried anything from Elijah's Extreme hot sauce? No, I don't think I have. We have like a million billion hot sauces. I need to like knock out a couple bottles of hot sauce before I buy any new ones. And we actually also have unopened bottles of hot sauce in my pantry. I've got the opened hot sauces in my fridge, unopened hot sauces in the pantry. I need to work through like at least 5 more bottles of hot sauce before I can buy anything, so it's a good thing that I'm eating these like soulless protein breakfasts, because then I can put hot sauce on them. In Passover, you eat the horseradish on matzahs to represent the pain of exile. Then you eat it with like a sweet apple dish to represent the bittersweetness afterward. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Matzah, you just reminded me that my mom would like buy... She would like buy matzah, which, as I'm understanding it, is like a flat cracker. And she would mix that with like scrambled eggs. She would like put matzah in scrambled eggs with cheese, and that was like breakfast. Which kind of makes me wonder now if I should try that again. Could I don't know, what are the macros on matzah? It's like an extremely... My brother's dad is Jewish, so it's like... That's, I think, why there were like any Jewish elements. I probably grew up with a greater understanding of Jewish tradition than a lot of white people. Like a lot of non-Jewish white people, because, yeah, I had like, my sibling was half Jewish. Time to feed the dragon. No hot sauce, I'm afraid. No! I need hot sauce. And then I can breathe fire. Oh, we're getting a resounding fuck yes for the matzah with scrambled eggs and cheese. I eat matzah's brie every day. Ooh, okay. I tried brie one time. I think maybe I just didn't know how to eat it correctly. Like, are you only supposed to eat the inside of brie? Or maybe it was just like not... Oh no, brie is different than brie. I see that that's not the same thing. Talk about how metal is flammable. Oh god. I don't know enough to know these things. I bought some ramen noodles a few weeks ago. It had a cartoon chicken breathing fire on the cover. I did not expect it to be as hot as it was. I feel like they tried to make it as clear as they possibly could. I feel like they tried. Chilaquiles. I'm making everybody hungry in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm really passionate. I love how every time I manage to catch a Lux live stream, it's always in-depth talk about some of the most oddly specific and niche subjects out there. Welcome to my brain, baby! In brie, you can also eat the rind. Okay, I guess I just had like a bad brie. The one time I tried it, I was like... It was... I mean, maybe I just don't like brie. It's possible. Robert Murray talks about making a furnace that burns iron powder for fuel. Yeah, what did you say earlier? You said something earlier in the YouTube chat. You can burn iron powder for fuel. The quote exhaust is just rust, which can then be turned back into iron through a process that I'm not going to mention here. Hell yeah. Brie should be kind of buttery. Yeah, I think that maybe, like, I bought brie on clearance. This was when I had food stamps, and I was like, I had a little bit of extra money, and so I was like, let me buy something nice. And I was like, oh yeah, this, like, cheese is on sale, but maybe it was just already bad. So the one time I ate brie, I was like, it's not good. Buldak ramen. Yep. Buldak is the one that my husband likes. He's the person who is getting me. I mean, it's not really his fault. I say he's getting me into spicy food, but it kind of has nothing to do with him. He just likes spicy food, which makes it easier for me to get into spicy food. Because then I can just, like, eat the hot sauce. Brie can be bitter. That might have been what was happening. Melted brie with apple slices and brioche. Oh my god, that sounds delicious. If you want a really tasty, buttery brie, make sure you get something that is triple cream, which is legally required to have a minimum milk fat content. Ooh. Smoked cheese. I love a smoked Gouda. I also really like a smoked cheddar, frankly. I really want to go to, like, I don't know, like, I kind of want to go to, like, a charcuterie-specific store. Or, like, I know some fancy grocery stores have, like, an area where you can get, like, nice prosciutto and nice cheese. I need, like, an employee of that part of the store to be like, tell me what are some, like, cool, semi-expensive cheeses that I could try for the first time. And then eat it. Buldak extra spicy. Oh, you got the one in the black container. Buldak in the black I think, I can't remember which one's spicier, the red or the black. Maybe the red one is the extra spicy. Guys, I don't know if we should talk about Hassan Piker today. Should we talk about Hassan Piker today? Am I going to save this until Sunday? Like Hassan being detained by ICE when he was coming back into the country from Paris. I don't know if we should talk about it or if we should talk about it, like, Sunday. I love a smoked provolone. Smoked provolone. Yummy. Tillamook smoked cheddar is a good store cheese. I have come to appreciate Tillamook cheese. So Tillamook and Umpqua are two brands that you can get in the Portland area that are, like, local brands, basically. And they're so good. If there's a Fred Meyer's around you, they have a special Murray's Cheese kiosk with all kinds of world and local cheeses. They have the best stuff. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. Put aside the strict feeling of categorizing. Do you want to talk about Hassan? I mean, I want to talk about him. I just don't know if I want to talk about it today. Can we just be silly for one day? Okay. Okay, it's silliness only. Chat has spoken. I'll talk about Hassan on Sunday. Silliness only. Oh my god, I can't breathe through my nose. It's really frustrating. Did you guys know that on the podcast I do with Gayfesh and Demon Mama called The Many Worlds Hypothesis on the Gayfesh YouTube channel, that we are talking about Star Trek, the original motion pictures? Like late 70s into the 80s. Star Trek, the motion picture. We started talking about it, and we've also recorded the episode about The Wrath of Khan, and we just recorded the episode about The Search for Spock. And the next one we're going to do is the one with the whale. In 2 weeks, we're going to record that one. So if you ever are like, I want to see more of Luxander, but mostly talking about movies and shit, then I have a podcast for that. Technically, what happened to Hassan was some hardcore silliness. I guess so. We'll wait, though. We'll wait. Fen says, listen, I've already had my last meal for the day, and now I need bread/crackers with gorgonzola, blue cheese, walnuts, and honey. Nice. Oh, Fen, you would maybe appreciate the conversation we were just having if maybe you weren't here. We were talking about obesity in America and how it's kind of like a poor tax, and like it's easier to be poor. It's easier to be fat if you're poor, as opposed to like in previous times in history where it's like it's only rich people who are fat. Because in America, the food quality is so shit. And like Fen, I think you're like Italian or something, so you probably don't have that same reference. But I was just saying how I've recently switched to a super high protein diet, which is very expensive compared to just kind of eating whatever you can afford. And I feel more full now. And I'm actually like almost having a hard time hitting my daily calorie count because I'm eating things that make me feel very full for a long time. So I don't know if you probably experience that because you're like a bodybuilder. Kind of off topic, but do you have any tips on making pre-made protein drinks taste less proteiny? I bought the Huel ones and it's so overpowering. I did a little bit of research and it seems like whey protein tends to be like less of that overt proteiny taste. But also part of what I do is if I'm making something with chocolate protein powder, I also just put a little bit of Hershey's chocolate in there. Syrup. I squeeze a little bit in there. Not very much, only like 30 calories worth. But it's to like even out the flavor a little bit. But then also powdered peanut butter can improve the flavor. Powdered peanut butter just tastes like peanut butter. So those are like a couple tips. If you're using protein powder, I bought like the gold standard. I can't remember what the brand is called aside from that. Like gold standard whey protein. So that's the one that I used. Khan, have you seen this man's titties? Come on. Let me see this man's titties. Like, I just want to be clear here that this was not like a plastic breastplate that he's wearing. Oh my god, somebody photoshopped his face onto there. This is just what his titties are like the whole movie. It's very distracting because he's very buff. So that was like a, distracting thing to pay attention to. DIY protein. Mira suggests whey protein, almond milk, frozen cherries, frozen blueberries, frozen strawberries, black cherry yogurt, run it through a blender. Yum. Protein is super filling. Yeah, Lamau. At that point, it's not really a hunger thing, but you have the issue with cravings if you like specific stuff. Like I have a sweet tooth and it's annoying. I don't know if you have these over there. I bought some chocolate peanut butter cups from a brand called Quest that are, it's like if one serving is 4 of them, and that's 8 grams of protein. So if you're like, this was me being like, if I need something sweet, instead of having ice cream, I'm going to eat these. So that's kind of, I'm trying to address all of those. Ricardo Montalban's massive shaven pecs, often oiled. Yeah. Why is this the first thing encouraging me to check out old Star Trek? Like, listen. Oh, here's another. Okay, I want to show you something else, Ox. Assuming you haven't already seen it on my blue sky. So in the fandom, there's this like theory. People like to ship Spock with Kirk, and I like watched the old series a long time ago, and I've only just recently gotten into watching the original series again at all. And you can totally see it. Like, so this is another reason to watch old Star Trek, is to be able to see, yes, Kirk is absolutely in love with Spock, and maybe the other way around too. But here's a little post that I saw recently. It's like, okay, Kirk is looking at Spock, and the way that he's looking at him, I interpret as being like an admiring or loving expression. And it's the caption says, I said, explain physics to me like you're in love with me. And after a while of quiet, he said, everything sings. So I get it now. And I imagine this as like Spock is the one who says everything sings. And it's fucking gay as shit. Like the spirk is so real. It's genuinely like it's impossible to ignore. Literally impossible to ignore once you are aware that people ship them. Like, I see it everywhere. Do they call it cock or spirk? They call it spirk. They call it spirk. Scotty and Bones? Oh, goodness gracious. No, that's what I was going to say, Nethercat. I was going to say Spock and Bones. Classic enemies to lovers. Yes. Yes. I'm here for it. Who wouldn't look at Leonard Nimoy that way, though? I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I heard about Buff Chick. It's a brand. Some flavors sound incredible. Buff Chick brand is they're supplements. Okay. Creatine. But Fen, you should tell me if creatine actually does anything, because it's one of those things where I'm like, it just kind of seems unnecessary. I don't know if it makes a difference. Scotty and Bones is scones. Yes. With a very restricted budget, I tend to get things that are natively high protein because the protein snacks are expensive. But yes, when I have that stuff, it's a game changer. Yeah, no, that's fair. Totally. I'm definitely having lots of snacks that are just high protein. Like, in fact, I'm probably going to eat a hard-boiled egg after, well, maybe even during this stream. Oh no. What? Kirk, scorned by Spock, turns against the autistics. No! He's not he's not like a spurned lover. He's not like a vindictive. Kirk is actually such a sweetheart who is just absolutely struggling with his identity the entire time. In the movies, I guess I should say. I don't actually know if he's struggling with his identity in the original series. But when you see him in the movies, it's like he became an admiral and he doesn't have a ship. And so he's like, I just want to be a captain. I just want to be on the ship. I love the Enterprise so much. And that's like his whole fucking character. Gotta look at look at the protein powders and the Buff Chick supplements. Oh my god, why are they $50? I would have to see, like, how much does the one that I just bought weigh versus, like, how much do these weigh for fucking an entire thing of it? Sorry, Kirk William crossover. No offense to real Kirk. Yeah, no. William Shatner is the worst, but I like his character as Kirk. And I think he's a great actor. Like, he makes, like, some subtle decisions. Like, I noticed there's one point in one of the movies where he's moving across the bridge, but instead of just walking as he is blocked to do, he's like snapping. They're down at his side, but he's like snapping his fingers as he walks because he's thinking, he's agitated, he's trying to solve a problem. His acting choices are very good. He loves his ship incrementally more than green girls. I'm gonna spoil something from the movies for you, okay? They came out like 50 years ago, so I'm gonna spoil it for you, okay? It turns out that the entire time that Kirk was captain of the Enterprise, the 5-year mission, the 5-year commission that he was on, the whole time he had a son with a woman who was a doctor who did not want him involved in that child's life. So the whole time he's like having all these flings and stuff. You should not view it so much as like this is a typical Navy guy with a girl in every port, but it's like it's more like he cannot let anyone get close to him again in a real sense because he's so deeply hurt, and he knows the whole time he's out there that he has a son that he's not allowed to see. So just that recontextualizes a little bit. Yeah, yes, exactly. Thank you, Ember. Exactly. Creatine is well researched, but it's not like taking gear. I don't know what the fuck that means. It gives you an edge mostly, won't do the work for you. It helps with stuff like brain fog. Some people may feel it more. When you train to failure, it gives you like one extra rep, but you need to squeeze it out. That adds up over time. Also, make sure to really hydrate when you take creatine. Okay, well, I'm not going to take creatine then because I already have to really hydrate. And so it's like if I'm doing anything that's going to make it harder for me to stay hydrated, I just would rather skip it. I don't need creatine, apparently. I don't need it. Kirk's acting. Listen, go back and watch it, Ember. Go back and watch that scene because it's been overemphasized in pop culture. This like, Khan. He just it's like it's a lot shorter, and it I guess is one of his less subtle acting moments. But it's so okay. Taking gear is doping. That's what I thought. That's what I thought you were saying. Kirk was definitely a ladies' man, but I don't remember him sleeping with a lot of people. Yeah. And like, also say what you will about Bill Shatner, but Bill Shatner made sure that they got the first interracial kiss on television because he deliberately messed up all of the takes where they didn't do the interracial kiss between him and Uhura. Water. Okay. Creatine is for people who want to be optimal. A good protein powder is when you don't have time to build a meal. Or, sorry, a good protein powder for when you don't have time to build a meal is arguably more useful for some people. Yeah. Oh, I'm probably also about to get into overnight oats. Because it's just like, oh, then I don't have to do any work in the morning. I can just have my breakfast ready. So, like, overnight oats, protein powder, powdered peanut butter, chia seeds, honey, maybe flax seeds. I don't know, whatever. His eulogy for Spock was one of the best pieces of cinema ever, objectively. Okay, yeah, that's fair, I think. What was it, the word pike that got censored? There's a lot of stuff that is censored, and I don't make the decision about what words are censored on the website. That's a decision that is made by the builder of the website, and it's the same across all of the different sites that she builds. Puggle says, check out 5th place Mrs. Olympia Michelle Bradley, Miss Australia. She was apparently too buff to win the world title in a bodybuilding comp, but amazing how she slimmed down post-season. Oh my god, this is a realm that I don't know anything about. I think that we just talked about this recently because she's like a female bodybuilder from like years past, like in the 80s. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Oh, prick. I see. Yeah. I wonder if bell end is censored. Like prick, I think is more of a bad word in America. But I mean, like cunt is also more of a bad word in America. But I don't know. It's White Nervosa's decision. There's also like I think the word poop gets censored. I think the word God gets censored. Um, yeah. That's White Nervosa's area of expertise. I don't know that Kirk was romantically into Spock, but they did make an entire movie about Kirk running off against orders to find Spock. I mean, listen, so that's the movie that we just watched for the podcast. Okay, so here's the deal. Like, first of all, I think Sarek, who is Spock's dad, knew that there was a relationship there of some kind because Sarek shows up and he's like, you need to fix this, and like Spock gave his memories to you before he died, I assume, because you guys are so close. And Kirk says to Sarek, like, your son meant more to me than you can know. And it's like he was in love. And then Sarek is like, I want to see your memories of his final moments so that I can figure out whether or not you have his spirit essence inside of you. And like it's so clearly like traumatic for Kirk. It's like he has to relive the day that he lost the love of his life because the love of his life's dad wants to know what happened. And it's like, it's just really hard to, I mean, yes, of course you can be like, well, whatever, men should be allowed to have paternal friendships and like blah, blah, blah. Yes, I agree. But also, that's gay as hell. It's gay as hell. Go watch it. It's gay as hell. Fen says, I don't know about this person specifically, but you can be too buff for some types of bodybuilding because there are different categories that have different standards. You couldn't be a bikini bodybuilder and be buff as hell, for example. Okay, totally fair. Yes, Spock did give his memories to Bones, but Sarek shows up and thinks that they're in Kirk. Because Bones just happened to be in the engineering compartment when Spock went down there to fix shit. Kirk and Spock is as gay as the movie 300. Yes. Very gay. Mountain Eucalyptus, hello. Oh, Mabs has phyllo pastry, spinach, and feta cheese, planning to make spanakopita, but cannot remember the other ingredients needed to make it. Eggs and 2 other things. I'm trying to expand what I'm making. So I want to, like, okay. I know that feta cheese is delicious. And it's supposed to be like a pretty good cheese, right? It's like a delicious, good macros on that cheese. Yummy. I miss salads, dude. I haven't been eating salads because I'm like freaked out by, again, all of the poor food safety standards things going on right now. So I'm like, man, I miss just like having like a nice salad. And I got into this habit when I was having salad regularly of making my own single serving of salad dressing. So just taking a jar and putting like a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of vinegar, some garlic, some sage, some salt and pepper, and then just like, and then just like, boom, that's my one serving of dressing. Delicious. Man, I need to find a way to reincorporate that into my life. I like when Katie calls people knobhead in the British accent. She's funny. Is she streaming again during my time slot? Katie? I don't really care. Katie Montgomery. No, she's not live right now. She is scheduled to go live on Wednesday next week. So maybe she did stream earlier today. Oh, she did. She streamed earlier today. Okay, cool. Shallots and dillweed. Ooh, yummy. You can't sterilize a salad in the microwave like other foods. Well, you can, but you won't want it after. Yeah, totally. Can I ceviche can I ceviche a salad? Can I just put it in a substantial quantity of lemon juice and it will no longer have listeria or E. coli on it? I don't know, man. Ooh, gonna make waffles after stream. That's pretty good, Deli. That sounds delicious. Man, it's been a long time since I bought this originally, so I probably should fucking finish eating it soon. But I bought like a thing of protein pancake powder. So, you know, you can buy like pre-made pancake mix. This one is just like a protein-based one. So protein, and like I guess the way that I usually eat my pancakes is with peanut butter on top and then syrup. I have an idea. What if I took my powdered peanut butter and mixed it with maple syrup and made a reconstituted, like rehydrate the dry protein powder with maple syrup, and then it's just protein, and a little bit of sugar. I should do that. That would be delicious. I've got some ginger salad dressing and lettuce. Ow! Yummy. Does it have like whey in it? I don't know. I don't remember. It's in my kitchen. I'm not gonna go get it. I don't. Let me see if I can find it. Protein pancake powder. Let me see if I can find the specific one. I doubt that I will, but we'll try. I think it. Oh yeah. Okay. So it's from Pearl Milling Company. So let me look. Pearl Milling Company. Oh my god. What's in it, fam? Tell me. Nutrition information. What? There's a pop-up on this page. Where is the pop-up? Okay. Nutrition information. Soy protein isolate. Whey protein isolate. So it's soy and whey protein in this. This is what it is that I bought. I just happened... This was just what was on the shelf, and I bought it. Not sponsored. I'm getting to the end of my salted caramel protein, and I need to get more because, God, it's so good in milk and coffee and a little cocoa powder. I've also heard that powdered peanut butter goes well in a cup of coffee. I haven't tried it myself because I've been on my tea kick. I haven't really been drinking coffee. I can't believe I made this tea like 5 hours ago. Finally, we're done with the tea. Gone! Working on a mulled wine herbal tea. Ooh! That sounds delicious. Mulled wine herbal tea. So it's just like the kind of herbs that you would put in a mulled wine? Fen is going off about a protein pasta at home that has an illegal amount of protein, like 55 grams and 100 grams. It's crazy. The texture does suffer, but it's nutritionally what the fuck? That's so cool. I know, yeah, there's like... you can get like wraps, like sandwich wraps, i.e., tortillas that are like protein tortillas. You can get fucking pasta that has additional protein in it. It's, yeah, dude. Katie's stream was good earlier, was busy repotting plants. I like Katie. I like the kind of commentary. We watched a video of hers not too long ago talking about like the trans man gotcha. And I like her style. It's very, I feel like it's pretty similar to my style in some ways, except that like she doesn't seem to be finished bashing her head against the wall talking about trans issues, where I'm kind of finished bashing my head against the wall on that. And again, as we've mentioned, it's been a whole hour since I said anything about it. I'm really excited to apply to this job. And I really hope that my current sort of brash, casual style on my social media is not a detriment to me getting this job. I was trying to figure out like what's a YouTube short of mine that I should send in. And I'm like, oh, well, that one dropped an F-bomb. I don't want to do that one. This one, no, that one doesn't work either. Like I had to pick and choose a little bit like which ones. So, but that I did now have a link to my channels, which means that they can go look and see all the other things. And it's like, yeah, I cuss. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. Okay. In fairness, in the UK, it kind of requires bashing one's head. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's harder in the UK because there's nowhere you can go, especially because they're not in the European Union anymore. If they were in the European Union, I would just be like, okay, bet I'm going to move to France. Like, cool, I'll just move to France. Whatever, who cares? Yeah, the issue is that there's nowhere for you to go, whereas I am in the United States, and so I'm now living in a progressive state where my rights are more secure. And I feel like I don't need to continue bashing my head against the wall regarding trans issues because I'm like, there's nothing I can do. Excuse me. Oh my God, dude. I hate when this happens. I like take a drink and then my diaphragm is all like freaked out. And I'm like hiccuping a bunch. I never see high protein / fiber wraps here. I want them so bad because I struggle with fiber sometimes. Yeah, totally. I've never purchased them myself. I've just seen people talking about them online. So I don't actually know what brands there are. I take a drink to fix hiccups. It's only for a short period right after I've taken a drink where I get like those hiccup burp situations. Ooh, good news. So that bill that Zoe Zephyr was campaigning against, you remember when Zoe Zephyr said their blood is on your hands when she was talking about like restricting, what was it? Restricting youth access to gender affirming care. Was that what it was? And the law passed anyway, and then they censored her and she had to work from her laptop in the ballroom or like the fucking, what do you call it? The anteroom of the congressional building. So apparently that law has been struck down in court, which is great news. And I found out because someone asked Zoe on Blue Sky, have any of the fucks that censored you, are they going to apologize now that this got struck down in court? And Zoe responds with a cool, I neither want nor care for their apology. They will simply be footnotes in the story of trans liberation. Bet. Damn. That was a great response. Like, they're just going to be footnotes in the history of our eventual success. Like, cunty. Love it. Dude, I just also want to say, I know we said something about the word cunt earlier and it got censored in the YouTube, whatever, and that's fine. I was making that, I was making a mock-up post for the company, or for the nonprofit that I'm trying to apply to, and it generally, like, I genuinely almost, it occurred to me to make the joke putting the cunt back in country, and then I was like, I made myself laugh out loud because I was like, girl, this is for a job that you're trying to get. Can you please calm the fuck down? Like, Just a funny moment. Downing a pint of water without stopping to take a breath usually cures the hiccups for me. Thankfully, I usually don't get them for very long. I get brief hiccups and then they go away. Oh my gosh. Mobius says poppadoms are high fiber and protein because they're chickpea or lentil flour. Poppadoms? I've never heard of those before. Chickpeas are delicious, though. We love a hummus. Hummus is yummy. Mira suggests to folks in the chat, if you're getting hiccups and downing water fixes it, that's because the water dilutes the acid causing the hiccups. Nice. I don't think I have acid reflux, and like I usually my hiccups are just kind of like brief. Yeah, Zoe Zephyr is a real one. I'm gonna take my little midstream break here. My intention is to go at least until 5. We might go. I mean, usually the goal is to get to 6. I just don't know if I'm gonna try to push myself to get all the way to 6 o'clock today. If we end up running out of shit to talk about, so I'm just gonna put on some music, and I'm just gonna take my little break. I'm gonna rest my voice for a second, and do all that shit. So give me a second to pull up the music. We will listen to a little bit more Jazz Dog. Where did I go? These are the 2 that I was going to play earlier. Okay, be back in a minute. I'm trying to like ease into it when I get back instead of just being like, surprise, it's the end of the song. I unmuted you, Mabs. I wasn't completely gone. I was like, oh, let me type. Kind of was coming and going for a second there. Oh my God, I want to tell you guys about my kombucha. Update on my kombucha. So I made it wrong originally. I was starting with just the tea and I didn't make the SCOBY. And you actually have to, like, the pellicle helps to actually build up the tea. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to build up my SCOBY. I'm like, okay, here we go. I need to get myself the actual weird little thing on the surface of the kombucha. But okay, what day is it? It's the 14th. There's no mold on it. Because that's what happened this most recent time is I fucked it up. It got moldy and I was like, wow, that's trash. Very upset. Took the wind right out of my sails. The kombucha smells like kombucha now. I'm still just making the starter SCOBY, and then I'll be able to actually do the fermentation process in like a few weeks. But then I'll have a SCOBY, and then I'll just be able to keep making tea. So that'll be great. I'm very excited to make myself some kombucha. Excuse me. I horked a hard-boiled egg in my mouth while I was away from the computer for a second there. Just absolutely scarfed it. Yummy, yummy. Where does that put me for my macros for today? Actually, good question. That's my very bad impression of the song that was just playing right now. Big shout outs to Jazz Dog for being a fucking awesome musician. What has everybody been doing for fun lately? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not doing a really good job of like having fun. I'm mostly like, well, okay, that's not true. Me watching The Last of Us episodes over and over and over again is basically my version of having fun. And then like, oh, I'm going to listen to the podcast from the creators talk about it. And then I'm going to watch a bunch of videos about it. And ooh, did you miss the Easter eggs in the episodes? I'm building and painting some dryers for Warhammer. Ooh, okay, so my partner and I sometimes play this game called HeroScape. And we recently bought a new base game for HeroScape, basically. My husband has one from when he was a kid, so like 20 years ago. And is it just standard now when you buy any game with tabletops that like the characters are not painted? Is it just part of it? Because like I'm pretty sure that all the ones that he has from when he was a kid came painted. But now we just bought one and they're just all gray plastic. And I don't know. I think that my partner is like resistant. I think that in his head, he's like, oh, I need to paint these and then we can play with it. And I'm like, I don't really care. I would rather just play the game. I mean, I don't mind painting them, but I just don't think that it needs to represent a barrier to playing the game, to paint the minis first. So that's like a whole fucking like an entire set of tools and paints and like a whole art form that we have to do we really have to like invest in an entire new hobby in order to do our other hobby, which is playing fucking HeroScape? I'm still hooked on Oblivion Remastered, but also working on my sewing and writing. Yes, I have a really nice sewing machine. My mother-in-law got it for me. I'm just not really like, I guess I just don't have a lot of creative passion for that right now. But maybe that's just something I need to look into more. Maybe I just need to be a little bit more open and curious and let myself be bored a little bit. For fun, I unplug from the internet on the weekends and spend time with friends, play video games, and paint 40K models during the week. Yeah, I had fun once. I hated it. True. Been playing Morrowind, working on my robot, watching anime and live streams, been to the movies a few times. What's your robot about? I'm curious about your robot. Downloaded the Elder Scrolls Arena from Steam a little bit ago. Just making it out of the starting sewers was an ordeal. Yeah. So I started up Stardew Valley again recently, and so usually what happens is I start a new game of Stardew Valley, and I play until I get to the third year, and then I kind of just lose interest. And I usually don't want to get back into one later. I mean, I don't usually want to like pick up a game that I started 3 years ago, in game 3 years. But I recently did. I was like, oh, okay, so this most recent one that I've made, that still feels like me, in a sense where like sometimes if like too long has passed, I'm like, that avatar that I made for myself is not even me. I don't even like whatever my goals were at the time. I don't know what the deal was. So I jumped on a profile that I haven't been on in like a year, maybe more. I genuinely do not remember when the last time I played Stardew Valley was. It was before that big update. I guess I had played since Ginger Island, but not since whatever the most recent update was that just kind of introduced a lot of new stuff to the game. So I hadn't played it in forever. And it turns out what I was doing when I started, or sorry, like the last time I played that game, I'm like 3 years into it. What I was doing was being everyone's girlfriend. That's apparently what my goal was. That's what I'm doing. I was like, I logged on and I saw, you start off in your house, and I was like, I'm not married yet. Like, there's no additional room on the side of the house. Answer: I'm trying to be everybody's girlfriend. And I think originally I was just trying to be all the girls' girlfriend. But then I was like, okay, well, I'm doing this anyway. I might as well become all the boys' girlfriend too, and just get everybody. And I always keep a lucky rabbit's foot in my inventory because I found out by accident. So if you romance all of the girls or all of the boys, I think it's if you get them all up to full affection, like if you get them up to 10 hearts, then there's a cutscene that happens in the game where in the default setting, they all get mad at you. They're all like, I can't believe you've been playing us like this, that you gave all 5 of us the girlfriend bouquet. Like, I can't believe you would do this. I think there's an event for the boys too that does the same thing. But if you have a lucky rabbit's foot in your inventory, they just kind of go, ah, it's no big deal, whatever. And you don't lose your friendship status with them, I'm pretty sure. I didn't know that that cutscene was going to happen years ago, and I happened to have a rabbit's foot in my inventory. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for now. I'm like, I want to trigger this cutscene for the boys and the girls, and then decide who I'm going to marry. And who I'm going to marry in Stardew Valley, it's usually Leah, because she's canonically bisexual. There's a scene with her where, like, toward the end, she, like, her ex comes to visit, and she's like, I don't want to see you, get out of here. And the gender of the ex matches the player character's gender. So Leah is the only canonically bisexual character, except for the fact that, like, basically all of the romanceable characters are functionally bisexual. But yeah, there's definitely like so it's like more explicit for Leah, and she's a redhead, and she's an artist, and she lives by the river, and she likes the forest, and I'm like, you're perfect. But I also really like Abigail with her purple hair and her enjoyment of playing video games. I like Maru a little bit more this time. I got some of Maru's heart events later in the game this time, and I'm like, I like her. She's into, so I guess I kind of like Maru because she reminds me of my husband, and I think that Maru is who he romances when he plays the game. But she's into like electronics, and she wants to build a robot, and she wants to work on robotics, and she wants to be an engineer and work for space NASA or whatever. And I know that sentence didn't make any sense, by the way. And at one point in one of the cutscenes, she's like, thanks, player character. I know that this isn't really your thing, but I'm always so glad that you express interest, or that you let me talk about this thing, and that you get involved. And that, like, it just was kind of sweet. And it reminds me of my husband, where I'm like, I don't really care about a lot of the electronics, robotics stuff that he does. In fact, he has a lot of hobbies that I kind of don't get. I mean, like, it's like, okay, you did something cool, and I'm glad that you did something cool, but I'm like, there's no part of me that's like, and you should teach me how to do that. Like, I just, for the most part, I'm cool with us having like separate interests and then an overlap. There's an amount of overlap where we like the same TV shows, and we both like shooting guns. We both like shooting our bow and arrows. We both enjoy the idea of hunting and fishing. Like, we've got plenty in common. We play World of Warcraft together. Like, so for him to do his electronic stuff, I'm like, I'm really like, I'll listen to you and I'm like engaged and I care enough to like listen in the moment. And like, it's that thing where I'm like, I'm expressing interest in this because that's a way of expressing interest in you. You care about this, so I want to know about it and express interest because that is a form of connection between two people. But I don't really like need to know anything about the electronics. So I like Maru and her perspective of like, I appreciate that you show interest in this, even though maybe it's not your thing. Of course, from her perspective, you are a farmer, so. Mira says, my robot will be kind of a helper bot. Inspired by the Mars rover, it will carry my backpack and follow me on campus. I just 3D printed the rear shell for its remote. That's very cool. I should show you something that my partner just showed me. It was a number files video. Very old number file video. So this video from Numberphile, called The Man with 1,000 Klein Bottles Under His House, shows how he has a crawl space under his house. You can see, like, that's him opening the door in there. And this is a little robot forklift that he's made, that he has a little controller and he can drive it around, and it has a little camera on it so that he can go basically find inventory of Klein bottles, because he has a bunch of them. But it's a little robotic forklift, and it's very cute. I feel like, is there a good little video of it moving around? Yeah, look at it. It's a little robot forklift. Let's see, toward the end, we get some really nice shots of it from Brady, I think, like, physically crawling inside there to get these shots. Well, it's a little forklift. Super cute. That's how Stardew Valley destroys lives. I'm not cheating. I'm just a completionist. I promise I'm not cheating. I'm just a completionist. Everyone knows Krobus is where it's at. You can't romance Krobus. I know. He's a sweetheart, though. Robit. Yeah. Isn't that so cute? Dally, when we were sharing what we're doing lately, said, knitting my new Doctor Who scarf and trying to get caught up on newer shows like Dr. Odyssey, gathering supplies to do double XP on RuneScape in 2 days. Nice. Yeah, I haven't been doing any crochet. I got like a little bit of inspiration to make my partner something in crochet, and then he immediately pissed me off, so I stopped working on it. Just lacked the direction and passion. What's the fun of a robot forklift? Well, it's tiny, you see. It's tiny, and it fits into a crawl space under the house. See, that's where it is. It lives in a crawl space. So the reason for the robot forklift is because it's in a small amount of space, and it's lifting things that don't weigh very much, because Klein bottles are mostly empty. So that's why. It's in a crawl space. What a great use for a crawl space. Totally. Keeping your inventory for your Klein bottles business, I guess. I want to make a little neon aquarium out of a Klein bottle, but the intersection zone makes it impossible for a 4D object. I think it would be possible for an aquarium with some tweaking, perhaps. I'm making a cape out of my skirt. Hello, gay fish. Howdy do. It's a good day to be alive, I guess. I don't know if you've been here, Gayfesh. I don't think I've mentioned it in our group chat or directly to you, but I'm applying to be the social media manager at an environmental nonprofit, and I've basically finished my application, cover letter, and everything as of today. And I'm gonna have Josie Caballero from The Line look at my cover letter because she works at a nonprofit, and then I'm gonna turn that in, and I hope that I would hear it back. But I just don't remember if I've told, because I've been looking at applying at this role for like a week, and I know that you weren't here on Mother's Day. So I'm like, oh, maybe I haven't told you about this. I'm really excited. It's a full-time position. It pays really well. Mathematically, the Klein bottle has 0 volume, but obviously, yeah, it holds liquid. They're funny. Klein bottles are a weird, like, mathematical thing, which is why this is on a channel called Numberphile. I'm wondering, can I, like, tie this? Can I make myself a cape and, like, tie it? I've been editoring all day. True, yeah. I spent part of my morning writing some mock social media posts and transcribing some of my YouTube shorts to include in my CV, I guess. CV is what you would call it. I know that this is going to look like really dorky, and that's kind of the point. This is my skirt. There's still, like, I'm still fully covered. Like, I have just made a cape out of my skirt, and there is no, like, flashing happening or anything. That's how much fabric is on this skirt. Cray cray. But yeah, I was just telling chat earlier about we're doing the Star Treks. Search for Spock was actually pretty good, in my opinion, which is apparently blasphemous. Use a kilt pin to fix your skirt cape. Yeah, I'm not that committed to it. I'm just having fun flapping my skirt wings, my butterfly skirt wings. Vertical bow tie, true. We're just having a silly moment. I don't know how much longer this stream is going to be because I have 100% run out of shit to talk about at this point. I just added the gif of Spock smashing a computer. Nice. Now it's a dress, kind of. A little bit kind of a dress. Mm-hmm. We're having fun. Had to get my own clip because some of the versions online had unregistered Hypercam 2 watermark or something. That's funny. I know, it's a nice little bra, isn't it? Or like a nice plunge. Now, this would be indecent, I guess, except for the fact that I'm wearing... Well, so have I just figured out how to make, like, a dress out of this? I could... Well, this only works if I'm wearing something on my top. But it's like... If I could find a way to just pin this, like, oh, I guess I could just, like, pin it behind my head, and then it would be a, like, you can see the skirt part still down here. Now I've made, like, a dress with a sheer back, and then maybe my titties are just out. I guess, technically, that is something that I have just discovered that I can do. Cool. See, is there anything that I have been doing lately that I can show off? I don't really have a lot of, like, physical results. I can't, like, pull up and be like, look at how great my cover letter and resume are, but that's, like, the thing that I've been working on the most for the last couple weeks. In fact, I have, like, two YouTube videos more or less ready to upload, except that I need to do, like, thumbnails and all that shit, and I'm just, like, procrastinating because I hate doing thumbnails. That's, like, the part of the video making that I don't like. Okay, so I haven't even uploaded them. I, like, finished these videos, and I haven't even uploaded them to get them started. Jesus Christ. So I just don't have a lot to show for what I've been doing this last couple weeks. Oh, it looks like they're finally introducing... Oh, they're reintroducing the Kids Online Safety Act, so that's great. Apparently Max is renaming itself to HBO Max. Didn't they... Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you figure out what your gone to seed maybe radishes are? Okay, so they're definitely not radishes. Because radishes, like... I think it's a Brussels sprout or something like that. I am not sure. I haven't... The garden coordinator was feeling ill, so I was like, just don't worry about it. You can just, like... I'll just figure it out. I'll just leave the stuff that's in my garden for the most part and take out the stuff that's more obviously weeds. And then I'll put some more stuff out there maybe. It's getting a little bit late in the month. I really need to do it. I like really need to get up at like 6 a.m. and just go do it. Oh man, dude, like my partner last night had the worst restless legs. Like I woke up over and over and over and over and over again last night because he was like, his legs were like getting into my area and then he was twitching around and I'm like, get the fuck off my side of the bed, dude. I could not get out of bed this morning. It was genuinely, I was like, it's fucking almost 10 o'clock. I need to get out of bed. Annoying. So it's like, it's, I don't know. I don't know how to deal with somebody who has restless legs. We do need like a different and bigger bed. I don't think that's going to be in the cards this year. Maybe if I get this job with a really high salary, then I will have a lot of money to spend, actually. But yeah, it's just kind of a struggle. But yeah, I need to get out there in the morning. I just need to not feel like shit in the morning. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but there was a really nice man at the garden who like showed me, he was like, hey, use this tool to do the thing that you're trying to do. And it worked so much better. And he was so sweet. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm here today clearing this plot for my daughter. So when she gets back, she'll see that it's clear. And I was like, that's so sweet. I'm sure she'll love that. Just a really nice, chill dude. I love I love library friends. That's true. But I love community garden friends. He was like, oh yeah. And you know, if you ever see somebody's plot is dry, people here, they always like help each other out. They water people's stuff. You don't even have to ask. And I was like, yeah, that's good shit. I love that. Could be purple sprouting broccoli that can grow huge, and at least some varieties have yellow flowers. Yeah, hold on. Super tall yellow flowers. Garden food plant? Let's just fucking throw it at the wall. It could be something related to mustard. Wait, aren't all brassicas mustards? Wait. So was I fucking right? It's like a broccoli or a Brussels sprout or a cauliflower. Bet. Because these flowers are like as tall as I am. Obnoxious. I just want my fucking car. I'm like, I just want to be able to drive to the garden whenever I want to. It's so much easier if I didn't have to walk there for like a good solid chunk of an hour. And then you have to walk back after. So you exercise on the way there, and then you exercise the whole time you're there, and then you leave. And you have to exercise more to get home. It's a fucking pain in the ass. Do you guys want to read what seems like a very cringe Reddit post that I just found? I just found a Reddit post that says, as a straight man, vaginas are badly optimized interfaces, and I would prefer them evolutionarily eradicated. Girl, are you okay? Men are not okay. Straight men especially are not okay. I don't know if this is... I just tend to assume most of the time that posts on Reddit are fake. I think this is someone's creative writing class. That's just my opinion. It's a little bit easier for me to be in the world if I don't assume that these things are real. It's just a little fiction, you know? Ooh, congrats, droning goddess with all the sunchoke plants. So he says, I'm a straight man. I love women. I'm not closeted. And I'm not trolling. I'm just done pretending that vaginas are these sacred, sexy temples of divine femininity. They're not. They're a mess, both in design and function. If evolution had any sense of symmetry, women would have ended up with penises, and the world would be better for it. Can you imagine giving birth through a penis? Like, what would the penis have to look like in order for you to, or is he just saying that, like, the pleasure center should stick out more? Aesthetically speaking, vaginas are chaos incarnate. Says a person in possession of a ball sack. Are you real right now? No, fake. Not closeted. Yeah, exactly. They make hardly any sense. There's no standard layout, no symmetry, no visual logic. Folds on folds. What are you talking about? Yes, this is the most closeted gay man in existence. Fucking true. Like, what do you mean? Like, they all look kind of the same. Like, they all have the same basic anatomy. There's one pair of lips, and then there's another pair of lips. And then there's, like, a clitoris, which is pretty much always in the same place. And there's a hole. They all kind of work the same. Folds on folds, lips of random lengths, hidden bits, and inconsistent shapes. Compare that to the penis. Sleek, functional, symmetrical. Whether flaccid or hard, it has cohesive structure. Vaginas look like they're trying to be secretive. Also, yeah, dude, totally. Bro acts like penises all look the same. Like, you have a penis, and maybe yours is, like, perfectly symmetrical. I'm also gonna make an assumption that you've had it, like, your foreskin is gone, because that, like, increases the ugliness factor on a penis. Like, the foreskin can be, like, lumpy, it can be lopsided, it can be uneven, like, sometimes they don't pull back all the way. I'm not saying that it's better for a guy to be cut. I'm not saying that. And obviously it's better for everybody's sensation if the guy is not cut. But I'm just saying, you know, whatever. Like, there's a great variation. And, like, how big are the balls? And are like one of them bigger than the other one? Is, like, one of them hanging a lot lower than the other one? Yeah, not all penises are symmetrical. You've got penises that, like, curve up and to the left. Or, like, you got penises that curve way down. Yeah, they hook to one side or the other. There's a ton of variation and variety. Of course, if you are a straight, allegedly straight guy, and you only see penises in porn, then maybe you don't know about the variation because only guys with really perfect penises are in porn. That you, like, unless you're looking at amateur stuff. And even amateur stuff, it's like people know their strengths and they don't, like, if your penis looks weird, that takes away from the male fantasy of having a giant perfect penis that women crave. You know? That's crazy. Society would be very different if humans were hermaphroditic. That's true. The clitoris is so great. So why is it buried? Because it has foreskin, you dipshit. That would be like, the penis is hidden because it has a foreskin. Yeah, porn has given so many men penis size insecurity. It's true. Sometimes the penises in porn show signs of having been broken before. Oh no. The main engine of female pleasure, which is the clitoris, is basically buried treasure with map prerequisite and terms and conditions wall of text you have to read and agree. This is a man who doesn't do foreplay. Because if you do enough foreplay, or the right kind of foreplay, the blood flow creates, like, conditions that make the location of the clitoris a lot more obvious. You need to spread folds, shift skin, and sometimes ask for directions. Oh, also, like, a lot of people don't like direct clitoral stimulation. So if you're, like, pulling the foreskin all the way back to expose the glands of the clitoris, a lot of people don't like that. It's way too too much concentrated sensation for some people. So it's like you don't like you what you actually need to do is just have the person show you how they like to be touched, which is not that hard. If women had small penises instead, like literally just the clit externalized, it'd make so much more sense. That is what the clit is. It's just a tiny penis that happens to have a ligament holding it down. But if you've never made a woman erect before, like if you've never made a woman actually turned on before, it would make sense for you to feel this way. Easy to find, easy to stimulate, easy to please. No more pretending like we all instinctively know the move. Looking at you, Helen. It would make mutual pleasure so much more straightforward. And honestly, if a woman wants sex with me, cool. But I should not be needing a PhD in female anatomy to deliver for her. That's crazy. Terms and conditions, i.e. talking to someone? Yeah. Exactly. Ember says, no, I'm straight, I swear. I just wish the vagina extended out to perfectly fit into the back of my throat. And why are the lips so unpredictable in size? They should be long enough for me to cup in my hand. Yeah. We love. I've never seen a post like this that doesn't become clearly a dude making his being bad at sex someone else's problem. True. Yeah, and instead of squirting, why don't women just blast their seed into my face? Oh my gosh. There's an obvious joke here to be made. Oh, Fragged Locust, we just read a cringe Reddit post about a guy who really is absolutely sure that he's straight, but wishes that women had tiny penises instead of a clitoris. Anyway, there is a joke to be made here that like, okay, well, it seems like maybe what you want is to fuck trans women. It seems like maybe that might be a thing that could solve the problem that you're having. If you wish women had a penis, then I've got a hell of a revelation for you. But also like people like this. I mean, really, he's just gay and needs to figure that out. As a hopefully soon-to-be PhD haver, I can confirm it is exactly as difficult as asking a basic question to your partner. Yeah, this guy claiming you need a fucking PhD in female anatomy to give pleasure to a woman. Patriarchy doesn't reward men who romantic gynophiliacs. That's an interesting phraseology. I think his fantasy is more to be a bottom and good luck finding trans women tops. I know one. I know one trans woman top. Maybe I know two. But yeah, I know a lot of trans women, and I don't know very many of you. You people have a tendency to like say that you're a switch, and it's basically just that you're desperate for attention, and so you'll offer to top someone even though you don't want to. Sorry to call out an entire group's trauma, but that's what you see more often. It's like they say like, I'm a switch. It's like, no, you're not. Or no, verse. Switch is different. You're verse. Like, no, you're not. We exist. Not for this guy, though. Maybe for money. I jest. I was about to eat a peanut butter cup. I think what I actually need is another cough drop. My throat is just so easily sore these days with all these fucking allergies. That meme, the illusion of free choice, and the options are I'm a bottom and I'm verse, and the result is bottoming. Yeah. Jihariel says, funnily enough, I have ended up with several trans femme tops purely out of coincidence. Yeah, I think that they just don't advertise that they're tops, because then you get like all the bottoms in your DMs. So anyway, that was just a really interesting blog post or a Reddit post that just happened to show up on my popular with friends timeline. That was a winner on popular with friends. Also, I don't know if this is real. This is a post from IGN that says Hideo Kojima has an amazing idea for a forgetting game where the main character gradually forgets important information and abilities if you take too long of a break from playing. And this person said, this is already how games work if you are over 35. Dude, okay, so this is very funny. A lot of the time, I'll like play Stardew Valley a lot for a few weeks or maybe a month or two, and then I'll take a break, and then it's like a year later. Whenever that happens, when I first opened Stardew Valley, I put my hands on my mouse and my keyboard, and I start trying to do things, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then I remember, yes, I grew up playing Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. I only play Stardew Valley with a controller. And then I get my controller out and I'm like, okay, yes, this is the game that I play, because I can't play Stardew Valley on my keyboard. It just doesn't, I just can't do it. It just doesn't work. But I forget that. I go for a year and I try to play the game and I'm like, oh yeah, let me just get in here. And then I'm like, oh wait, no. I had a misapprehension about how I play this game. Chasers love a trans top. I mean, I think that it's because chasers are actually just gay and they're in their process, so they want to have sex with a woman, but they want to be pegged. Like, they want to be fucked in the ass by a man, but they'll take as a medium ground, like getting fucked in the ass by a woman, because it feels less gay. But then in their post-nut clarity, they do actually feel like it's gay, and that's why so many women get killed. I haven't tried Baldur's Gate with a controller. I don't know. I don't know anything about Baldur's Gate. Got my hands on a Steam controller. Friends hate on it, but it's pretty great for customization. I have a Steam controller, I think, somewhere. I don't think I've gotten rid of it yet. But, I mean, my dad gave me this. It's just a Razer. I think the only thing that sucks about this is that it's really clicky. It just has a way more haptic feedback than you really want on a controller, but it's fine. It works fine. I like that on the Steam controller there's like a little mouse pad thing where you can move a little mouse button thing. Maybe that would be, I don't know. I'm not sure if that would be beneficial for Stardew Valley. And is it worth me getting my Steam controller out? Probably not. I already have a controller plugged in. I use my Steam controller for playing Wii U and Switch emulation, by which I mean I use it exclusively for BOTW and TOTK. Man, I still haven't opened Tears of the Kingdom since I moved here. And I hadn't played it for a while before that. Where even is my Switch? I need to put my Switch on the dock and, like, charge it and make sure that it's all good. And then maybe play a little bit of Animal Crossing or something. On Sunday, I just want to prep you guys. On Sunday, I'm gonna require everybody to do a spirit bomb to send me the positive energy to get the fucking job that I want. Because the applications... Oh my goodness. The applications have to be in next week. So I'm assuming that they're gonna start looking at applications on, like, Monday or Tuesday. And, I'm gonna have you all send me your spirit bomb energy to me hopefully get this fucking job. I think a lot of guys are taught that they need to be the top even if they are gay, when the ratio is probably closer to 50-50 than it seems. Well, I mean, to be fair, being a bottom is a lot more work. Like being a bottom, you know, there are dietary changes you have to make. There's like a whole procedure if you want to make sure that no poop comes out during it. It's fine if poop happens, you just stop and clean it up. But you know, like there's a lot of work that goes into it. So I kind of understand wanting to be just a top, because being a top is easier. Frankly, it's just easier, and you can just kind of go for it. The bottom is the one who has to loosen up. The bottom is the one who has to take poppers. The bottom is the one who has to do all these things. So, I've recently become aware of the concept of the side. So a top is the one who puts the dick in. The bottom is the one who gets the dick put in, right? But then you've got a side, which is like, I don't really want a top or bottom. So they'll do things like mutual masturbation or that kind of thing, or just sticking to oral sex, or just whatever, instead of like doing anal. You can't knock on poop's door and never expect it to be home. Yeah. Mickey says, over half of cis men are reported as having submissive tendencies. That's over half being reported. And we all know that that would be super underreported. That's interesting. It also reminds me of Pedro Pascal. Let me see if I can find this clip that I want. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you like anal. True. I only really need to see one clip from this, so I don't know if I'm going to find it. Is it immediate? Oh, is it? Yeah, it's immediate. Here we go.
When I used to work there, my assignment was always to tell the host, submit.
Yeah.
Submit. Just submit. Yeah. Because it'll be much easier. And it won't hurt. And
but I am.
Hey, Joe!
I think he's just so high every single time he comes to one of these things. He was like, I'm into submission. And she was like, and he was like, what? I am. Like, you're ridiculous. Like, you're ridiculous, my dude. That's very funny, though. It's really cute. And it wouldn't surprise me. I think that, so I've known somebody who did sex work before, who basically did like domination sessions, and they were doing domination, and they would often find that the kind of men who were engaging them for domination sessions was people who are in not high demand, very demanding positions, like a CEO. People who are like really they have a job where they have to make a lot of decisions throughout the day. So they can afford a dominatrix, and what they want in that kind of controlled environment sexual fantasy moment is they want to just kind of let go mentally and have someone else make the decisions and tell them what to do. So I wonder if maybe it is more common for men in general to have submissive tendencies because of this kind of similar thing where men in general are like having to make decisions, or they feel isolated or something. Reed Richards is from Fantastic Four. He's the stretchy guy. I love Pedro, but I don't think he's right for Reed Richards. Yeah, I don't know enough about Reed Richards to say. I mean, it's so funny because he's such a goofball in person, but then he's really a serious actor. So it kind of makes me curious to see like what's the breadth of roles that he could take on. I've mostly seen him in dramatic roles, so I don't know what he would be like in the Fantastic Four. Like, is he going to bring enough of that comic book feel to it? I have no idea. I don't really care about the Fantastic Four, but I like Pedro Pascal enough that I'll probably watch it when it hits Disney+. Probably. I was going to say pro doms are hella expensive. Yeah, they are. So it's like, I wonder if more men who, if they could afford it, would pay dominatrixes to make them submit. because I think that it's too complicated for men. Like, part of the reason why I suspect that men are into the idea of submission is because they feel like even with the women that they're in long-term relationships, they have to maintain that role. I think there's a ton of men out there who are like, if I let my masculine mask slip for even a second, then my girl is going to leave me because she needs to see me as somebody who's a provider. If she sees me as somebody who wants to get pegged, then that's going to make me seem weak and it's going to make her lose interest. And some women are like that. I have seen some women saying shit like, how are you a man out here eating dessert? Or something like that. Like, you know, where they're seemingly unrelated things in my view, but where they're like, I need a man who's very, very masculine. So it's like a chicken and egg situation. I don't know where the problem started. Oh my god. Nuvenol. Sorry, I need to get this cough drop out of my mouth. Nuvenol just said, I remember I was high when I first bottomed, and the in and out motion had me being like, dude, I shit on your bed. I'm so sorry. That's so embarrassing. And he had to keep telling me, no, you didn't. You're fine. Oh, no. That makes sense, though, because you would definitely have a sensation like, oh, something has just exited my body. That's funny. The doms I know usually say it's people in positions of power that hire them. It may just be that they have the money to. Yeah, it makes sense that a high-ranking role in a company where you have to make a lot of executive decisions, like that person would want more than most people to do submission specifically, but also would be able to afford it. Realizing that the most macho Hollywood stars were probably drama kids really changes your perception of them. I feel like there is... I wonder if maybe it's just because they're really good at what they do. They play pretend, you know? Whether it's male or female actors, whatever, they play pretend. And so the male actors are often getting these roles where they play these hard asses who are doing crimes, or they're solving crimes, or they're fighting people, or they're whatever. And like they're good at playing pretend. That's it. And yeah, they look really buff, but they look really buff because they're on like a California diet, not drinking alcohol, training physically for 8 hours a day. Nick Offerman points out whenever anyone talks about how masculine he is, that he went to theater school and majored in dance. True. That's exactly what I mean. Like, the idea, and it's also true of these fucking influencers online. Like, fucking the Andrew Tates of the world. Or the Joe Rogans. Like, okay, Joe Rogan clearly like works out, but he also like his primary job is to sit in a chair and talk to people. Not exactly like a hard guy. Not exactly a shining embodiment of like physical prowess and strength in defending our homes and shit like that. I would imagine that it would be easy to get in shape if you were paid a living wage to do so. Well, true. Yeah, they are specifically being paid to get in shape like that. And they have the resources and everything, whatever. But my point is less to do with them being in shape. I mean, yeah, like, I think people associate these big muscles with, like, strength, and those men get things done. But the men who are strong and get things done look like bodybuilders with fat. They look like Thor. Oh my god. They look like half Thor. This guy. I said Thor. Half Thor is his name. So this is what a man who is strong and can get shit done looks like. He's thick around the middle. There's a lack of muscle definition. There's obviously a size thing going on, but there's a lack of definition. So when you get these guys who are super ripped It's like, dude, that's unhealthy. You can't get anything done. In fact, you're going to need to recover for 3 days from this shoot because you had to dehydrate yourself in order to get that definition. Steroid use is rampant in Hollywood, but that wouldn't surprise me. Also, have you ever noticed that those people don't ever appear to demonstrate joy? Oh, you mean like the influencers? When I think of good positive male role models like Pedro Pascal or Nick Offerman, I think of dudes who get goofy with it, who have joy that isn't just about tearing others down. Yeah, I agree. I've just been seeing a lot of conversation recently about like the male loneliness epidemic and like where is the real problem coming from. And it does seem like a bunch of influencers who really are sissy babies in their primary jobs, but have enough money to afford fucking creatine and a gym membership. So they have a job that's like sitting on their ass. It's IT, or it's having a podcast, or it's some other fucking stupid bullshit. So they, oh my god, Half Thor is 6'9". So yeah, these people they're like taking steroids, or they're snorting creatine or whatever it is that you do. And so they look really buff, but it's just because like they have a sissy bullshit job where they make a lot of money, and then they tell you like all these things, and they tell you that you can accomplish the same things, but you don't have fucking $1,000 a month to keep a personal trainer on retainer. Probably more money. I'm just throwing out. I feel like the banana lady right now. What could a month of personal training cost? $1,000? It's like the scope of what rich people pay money for things. Like, I have no fucking clue. My favorite male role model is Andre the Giant. I do like him. He's sweet. Was sweet. Oh God. Fragged Locust says, my friend went on a whole rant about how people are so soft nowadays. Not, like the fact that they don't allow teabagging in Halo anymore. Don't even know how to respond to that, as he doesn't see the sexual assault connotation as a big deal. Yeah, like the idea that you're sexually assaulting a dead body. She was ahead of her time. After tariffs, bananas will cost $10 a piece. True. Droning Goddess says, did you see that thing a while ago, I think on X, Twitter, where some guy posted his before and after pictures with a poll, and most women responded saying they liked him better in the before picture, where he looked more like Half Thor, versus the after picture where he's not all ripped and 0% body fat. The dudes in the replies got really mad because the poll results showed that showed men. So they were like, if you're so four options on the poll. You're a man and you prefer before. You're a man and you prefer after. You're a woman and you prefer before. You're a woman and you prefer after. So they could see how the two genders responded. Okay, and then like the dudes were saying that they all thought the after picture looked better, and the women just did not agree. They thought the before picture looked better. This is what we continually find, is that like men will say this bullshit when we're talking about like the male gaze, and that like women in movies and video games are portrayed in a way that is for consumption by straight men. Like this woman only exists. Like, why did we have to have a scene of this woman changing clothes and we see her in her bra and underwear? Why did we need that? That is just fan service for the men in the audience, for the straight men in the audience, to be specific. And then the men will be like, well, look at this unrealistic body standard being set by these ripped buff men. That's for women. And then women are universally almost like, we don't like that. That is a male power fantasy. The women in this kind of media, the women exist for male consumption, and the men also exist for male consumption. Yes, exactly. Dudes are performing masculinity for themselves, not for women. Women don't like that shit. Yeah, men in movies being designed for the male gaze. Totally not gay, though. Kitty says, I love Andre the Giant. My favorite tidbit about him is he was literally the biggest fan of The Princess Bride ever and would force every dinner guest to watch it with him. His best friend said he watched it with him dozens of times over the years. He loved that character so much. That's amazing. That's so sweet. I also love that movie. Mira says, this is also similar to how I like to dress up for the women I'm going to go see, because we reinforce each other and complement each other. I don't dress that way to tease or attract men. Yeah, it's always so funny, too, when men are like, you're never going to attract a man dressed like that. And the woman is like, I'm at the fucking gym. I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to get these gains. I don't want your attention at the gym. Or sometimes it's a lesbian who's getting this response of like, men are like, well, you're never going to attract a man like that. And it's like, good. I explicitly don't want you to think that I'm open or interested in this concept. Like, please don't. Yeah, in fairness, The Princess Bride is the best movie ever made. Yeah, totally. Tim Pool told us that the women were lying. They actually secretly love the muscles, but woke. I guess but woke, so they can't say that they prefer it. Honestly, that thing about dressing up too is like yesterday, I wore this skirt yesterday as well as today, and I was like, I just want to feel cute. And like, that's for myself. I was like, I actively don't want attention from my husband right now. Like, sometimes I will dress up and it's like, it's a titillating little game where I'm like, I'm wearing a skirt. Do you want to find out whether I'm wearing underwear? But there are some times where I wear a skirt and no underwear, and it's like, this is for me. This is private. This is for me to feel myself. I don't care. I don't want your attention. Leave me alone. In fact, I don't know if maybe that's just like maladaptive, avoidant attachment stuff, but some of the guys responding were definitely just calling all women liars. Yeah, you women, you're lying, or you women, you don't even know what you really want. It's like, but, and like these men put so much effort at like, listen, I understand. I am putting a lot of effort into building muscle and losing fat. It's a lot of fucking work. In fact, it's more work for me because I am an endocrine system full of estrogen. So like, I get it. These men are like, I'm really trying to accomplish something and I'm really putting a lot of effort in. And I'm a lot of men also, like, just with all diet culture, as I mentioned earlier, there is a thing where you're like, I need to suffer in the process, or like if there isn't some amount of suffering in the process, then I'm not really making progress. So these men are like basically punishing themselves. They're eating plain chicken and broccoli every day for lunch. They're not drinking beer. They're not masturbating. Like, there's all these things that they are doing because they're like, this is going to make me jacked and this is going to cause me to have like the most virility and everything. And then when women don't want them because they've spent all this time, so like they're developing these things that women do not want, but they, in the process of doing that, are also neglecting the kinds of things that do attract a partner. The like being funny or having a hobby that isn't being at the fucking gym all the time. And obviously, like, I'm not trying to say all men, whatever, but the kind of man that we're talking about who is invested in these kind of physical goals, this aesthetic objective. Yeah, not masturbating is the worst way to get jacked, truly. You burn calories by producing more cum. So if you get rid of some of the cum, then your body will burn some calories making more. That's a horrendous, cursed thing that I just said. The nofap is legit crazy. Sure, yeah, no, totally. Yeah. You don't even know what you want is exactly what you want to hear from a man. Yeah, no, that turns everybody on. When a man says, like, I bet you don't know what you want. Like, okay. Or like, it's like, are you saying that I'm stupid? Or what is it that you think you're saying? Do you think that this is going to get you any points? Like, it's like, not only do women not like that body type, but also the personality So you're getting all these gains. You're getting all these gains in the gym, but your losses are like the personality things that women actually care about. And like, do you do your own laundry? And how clean is your apartment? And do you leave sweaty gym socks on the floor? Like, these are the things that you should actually care about if you want to attract a woman. If you're afraid to talk to women, I can see how it might be more appealing to just ask other men what to do. Yeah, fair. It was pretty messed up. In the comments of this post, the women were saying that the women saying that they had dated super buff guys basically said that they dated them in spite of how buff they were, that they didn't mind, but they definitely didn't pick them based on that. Interesting. Like, yeah, I'm not really into this whole thing. Like, I'm not really into how into your body you are, but I'll try to date you. That's interesting. I'm quite capable of admitting when I do not know what I want. It's called asking for directions, something that men are unable to do according to the trope. True. My ex used to consider themselves a lesbian. Their family had a quote talk with us, and part of it focused on me being trans. When they asked my partner, or do you like both? And then the partner said yes. Their dad said, you don't know what you want. Sometimes you can just want two things. Sometimes it's okay to want two things. That doesn't mean you don't know what you want. It means that the menu is bigger for you. Being bisexual, it's a trial and a tribulation. It's okay to want your cake and eat it too. Yeah. It's hard to, you don't have the cake anymore if you eat it, but you know, eating the cake sometimes is more satisfying than having it. Imagine declaring for all the world to hear, I only like chocolate or I only like vanilla. Like a fool. Like a goddamn fool. It's okay to have your cake and want pie too. Ooh, true. Oh yeah, I need to fucking touch base with my sibling and be like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? Because they recently said like, I do like pie. And I'm like, okay, I need to dig into that a little bit more. Am I getting you a pie for your birthday cake? Like, is that what's happening? I need to figure it out. People say that when someone says you don't know what you want, what they really mean is you didn't ask our permission to want that. True. Kelsey says, I always thought that saying was dumb because the cake is literally inside you. You def ate your cake and you still have it with you for at least the next 6 to 8 hours. Yeah. I think we talked about this recently, and there's like a better way to phrase this while retaining the original meaning. Like, you can't, like if you just said like, if the phrase was just like, well, once you eat the cake, it's gone, that would make more sense. There's probably a better phrase. What kind of pie? I don't know. That's why I gotta ask. Like, what kind of pie do you want? Do you want any ice cream? These are the kinds of questions that I need the answers to. Because I'm probably going to have to figure that out soon. She's my cherry pie. Anyway. Feeling a lot of randomness today. Feeling a lot of random energy today. The critical questions of life. Is the cake a lie or not a lie? I can't sing like that. I was going to try to sing one of the end of the game Portal songs, and then it turns out that I'm not going to try to sing falsetto right now. Cherry pie and a cup of joe. Yum. I made a kiwi lime pie once as a joke, but it turned out delicious. Key lime pie. Oh, do you specifically kiwi lime pie? That actually sounds really good. How much cake can you eat until you cannot eat cake? That is what I was about to start singing, Byron, and then I was like, I can't do it. I can't. I don't think I can do it. Like, even just moving my vocal cords into position is like, that would cause a strain. That's what happens when you talk for 3 consecutive hours. Sometimes your voice is like, no, I don't want to do it. And you're like, please? And they're like, no. The key lime pie my friend had always called kiwi lime pie, so I made it. Oh, that's actually kind of sweet. I bet it was actually pretty sweet, too. I've not eaten yet today, and this whole hangout has been about food. The torture is real. Why have you not eaten all day today? You're in trouble now. You've just revealed something that you're in trouble for. Bad. Naughty. Why have you not eaten yet today? Put me on your phone and walk to the kitchen and eat something. Silly. Silly beans. I'm so jelly, I want pie. Yeah. And it's like, am I going to make this pie or am I just going to buy one? How much labor am I going to put into making this pie? I feel like it would probably still be better for people in general to like snack a little bit throughout the day, even if you're poor and you only functionally can afford one meal a day. Costco pumpkin pie equals best pie. Oh, God. I love pumpkin pie so much. Pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie, they're both delicious. They're probably my favorite pies. I don't want to be in trouble, so I won't mention my lack of consumption so far today. Come on, you guys. Like, I'm out here trying to take best care of myself that I can take. You gotta reciprocate, okay? You gotta take care of yourself. Yes, later, Mabs. Have fun at the grocery store. I'm like stretching my hip right now. Oh man. What's crazy is that I'm lifting up the right leg, but I can feel it in the left leg. A good sweet potato casserole. Ooh, I should try one of those sometimes. I need to try a pecan pie. I haven't had one in a long time. I don't even know if I ever tried it. My mom liked pecan pie, and I didn't like my mom, so I never wanted to try pecan pie. Thinking about it, though. It's just this randomly crossing my timeline. Universe will die, quote, much sooner than expected, new research says. And the person who posted it says, at least we have this to look forward to. Silly, silly, silly stuff. This is also a classic. I assume that this is an antique mall. There's a horn, and there's a sticky note on it that just says don't. And you can tell that there have been many times where people have gone honk honk and really spooked everybody in the antique store. Classic. Ooh, sweet treat, kitty. I'll have to keep that in mind. Lord Byron says, oh, it's probably half a Google years from now rather than a Google years or something. Yeah, some similarly immeasurable amount of time. Fragged Locust said, I had a hard-boiled egg the other day after Easter. It was a sensory nightmare. I don't know if I ever had them before. I definitely had to warm up to scramble and still can't do sunny. My partner can't do yolk, like uncooked yolk. He's like, I think it's like a snotty texture that is like physically revolting, that just kind of makes him reflexively throw up. So I get it. I'm uncertain what to eat today. My mood is currently ambivalent. Eat something that tastes good. I use real pumpkin for it, so it's good. This is part of why I like to get sweet potato. I'll get like raw sweet potatoes and then just like make a sweet potato pie out of it. That way you know what it is. Uncooked yolk requires something to soak into. Yeah, like bread, or sometimes I'll like dip my bacon in it, and you know the bacon has like dips and valleys in it, so you can get a little pool of yolk. And I have not been eating any uncooked yolks since bird flu started being a thing, because there's not like a huge chance, but there is some chance of contracting bird flu through like a soft boiled egg or whatever, or like a sunny side egg. So I just have been not eating them, which is really sad. Like, they're really delicious and I love them, and I just have been avoiding them. Sad. Gonna get Taco Bell later. Hell yes. Droning Goddess, did you have a typo there? I make really good scrambled eggs. The secret is more butter than you think is reasonable. Yeah, of course. That makes it so delicious. French toast. Ooh, I haven't had French toast in a long time. I love over easy eggs with toast. Yeah, no, true, Mira. I like over easy eggs with bacon and toast, but I just don't eat over easy eggs anymore. Don't avoid happiness. I mean, it's just like a trade-off of like, do I enjoy eating soft-boiled eggs more than I enjoy not having bird flu? That's the trade-off. Am I gonna risk bird flu? No. That's why I literally put on a mask before I even leave my house, and I continue to wear it while I'm in the car, and as I go in and out of every business, and in the car on the way back home, and then I take off my mask when I get home, because we're not trying to play around with respiratory illnesses. Oh, the James Webb Telescope, referring to it as a homophobe telescope because James Webb was a homophobe. Got it. I understand now. I didn't know that, but now I know that. So the James Webb Telescope keeps pushing the start of the universe back because they keep finding stuff out on the edge that's way older cosmologically than it should be, indicating that the universe is older than we thought. Okay, cool. That makes sense. When I was in Ireland, all the eggs were served runny. The Irish breakfast requires them, it seems. See, that sounds delicious. That sounds incredible. My mouth is watering. I literally just ate a hard-boiled egg, and I'm still like, I want egg. I've been eating so many eggs recently. Apparently, eating things that are high in cholesterol doesn't necessarily raise your blood cholesterol levels. Eating lipids increases your blood cholesterol levels, and there is fat in yolks, so you do kind of have to be careful about how many yolks you're consuming. Yeah, the age of the universe is as old as the last place we looked. I love the idea that, like, technically anywhere that you are in the universe is, like, the center of the visible known universe, because, like, it's just about like how far away things are and like how long it has taken the light to get to the place that you are at in the universe. So that's fun. In For All Mankind, the telescope is named for Thomas Paine instead, the NASA administrator who served during the moon landing. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Yeah, we can only really measure back to the point when light could travel linearly from any given place in the universe to wherever you're observing it from. Like, I didn't know that that's what the phrase the known universe meant or the observable universe meant until I watched fucking Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I was like, oh, bet. Okay, that's crazy. Also didn't know until then that, like, humans perceive infrared light as heat. Like, there's no, like, heat traveling through space to the Earth. Like, it's like just infrared light. And it, like, excites molecules and creates heat. So that's why you feel the sensation of sun on your skin, is because the infrared radiation is exciting the molecules in your body. The universe could technically be infinite. This is true, technically. Like, what does that mean? Like, yeah, there are, it begs several questions. Like, if there is an end to the universe, then it's like, okay, is it in a bubble? Is it in like a, is there something outside of it? Like, what's outside of it? If the universe is like contained, then like what exists outside of it? And it's like nothing, probably. We'll also hit a point where the expansion gets faster than the speed of light, and then we won't be able to see stuff because the light will never reach us. I was under the impression that the movement through the universe was slowing down, and that was like one of the ways by which we have a measurement for like the Big Bang, is that like things are moving away from a central point, but they're moving like slower over time. I always assumed that infrared is heat. Sort of, yeah. It's like an indirect form of heat. OMG, space is scary. Yeah, space is scary. It's accelerating. Okay, cool. We love that. So, like, that sort of means that time is gonna slow down. Like, the faster things are traveling, the closer to the speed of light they go, the slower time is subjectively. So, does that mean that, like, time is going to be dilated in a way for, like, all planetary bodies as they hurtle close to the speed of light? God, that's crazy. You get into a level where it's like kind of hard to imagine things because your human brain was only really meant to ever count to 100. The edge of the universe is like an infinity train. It pushes you backwards the more you push against it. Yeah. We used to think we would end in a big crush where gravity would unify all matter back to a point, but now we think it will end in a big freeze where even atoms can't hold together as the space between them increases. Cool. That's neat. One way to imagine heat in space is to think about a comet. When does the tail begin to blow away from the sun? At a point where the comet is warming up and releasing gases from melting ice, there is, quote, heat in space there, or enough energy to create heat. I guess I've always assumed that, like, a comet has that going on because it's passing through something. Accelerating expansion of space just means that galaxies are getting farther away from us as an aggregate. Yeah, yeah. Dr. Becky has some great videos on cosmology. Cool. This is something that I talk about on stream, but to be completely honest, like I used to be kind of more into space. I do not spend any time nowadays looking at anything to do with space. It's kind of like Sherlock Holmes, where like Watson explains to Sherlock Holmes how like the Earth is an oblate spheroid and it revolves around the sun, and Sherlock was like, "Cool." Deleted. He was like, "I don't need to know that. That doesn't help me solve crimes. I don't fucking want to know that." Deleted information. Not ever gonna think about that again. It's like just completely not relevant to his life. He does not care. Ooh, Drea ran with a theory in her book universe that branching timelines is literally new universes, and for an infinitesimal moment they interact with each other, which causes universal expansion. The main character stops the universe acceleration by collapsing the alternate timelines. That's neat. I like that. Yeah, look, autistic hyperfocuses are real and Sherlock's is crime. True, yes. I'm the Dr. Watson, full of irrelevant data. Yeah, I think that I tend to fall more along the Sherlock Holmes of it all, and then my partner is more of the Watson in that, like, my partner is like, let me learn about a lot of stuff. I just want to consume videos all the time and learn new things. And I'm like, that sounds like it's going to fill up my brain with a bunch of bullshit that's going to make it harder for me to remember things I care about. But I have pretty significant memory issues, so. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty significant. I don't know if that's the right word for it. Like, some people, like, forget everything every couple weeks. I don't know. I love knowing things. I like knowing things. I just don't want to know a lot of things. Like, I just don't know. I don't want to know all the things. I mean, you know, Gayfesh, that, like, you've got, like, a couple hyper interests that you have. So I'm like, okay, I know everything about A Song of Ice and Fire, uh, whatever. And then I'll also, like, as a content creator, you have to do thumbnails, animations, editing, like actually doing research or watching whatever it is that you're reacting to. And like, so even just as my current job, I am knowledgeable about a lot of different things. And it's like, yeah, you run into a limit where it's like when I'm not working, because my work requires so much multitasking and so many different things, I'm like, okay, in my free time, I just want to rewatch that same episode of The Last of Us over and over again. My favorite part of these new episodes is whenever one of you asks me something about Trek lore and then 10 minutes pass before I stop talking. Yeah, I'm definitely like trying to give myself a little bit more permission than usual to be like, and now it's my turn to make a point. Just to keep things balanced, you know. I guess it's fun because my brain is full of full of crazy hole that it can hide things from me in. I only know things when I am talking about them or it is relevant. It will quickly disappear into the ether of my head until triggered by a random phrase. God, I wish I had that. I would trade all my Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge at GameStop exchange rates to learn fucking anything else. Relevant to the comet, the tail is formed by pressure from solar radiation stripping gas from its atmosphere. There are, in fact, two comet tails, one that points directly behind the comet in relation to the sun, and a second one that matches its orbit. Nice. That's very cool. I like knowing space things that I'm going to immediately forget. I'm literally sitting here like, uh-huh. It's not going into long-term storage. Like, I'm like, okay, I know, I'm going to forget that later. Like, it's cool to have heard it. I'm not going to know it later. Kerbal Space Program lets you get used to orbital dynamics. Yeah, I've heard good things about that game. Yeah, overclocked CPU, lots of RAM, and a fragmented hard drive. Fucking true. I've learned rapidly to use it mostly as a reference for a library of books I can then open and read the real fact if needed. I've also been burned by the world literally changing and data becoming obsolete. Good point, yeah. And I know that that's part of why you're like, I want to collect all these books with all this information in it. I recently went and downloaded the USDA, like, canning and preserving foods PDF document. And I'm like hoping that I got to it before any changes were made. Cause I'm like, okay, well, this is actually, you know, back when we actually had food safety standards, this is the thing. So I kind of get what you mean, where you're like, I'm trying to cling on to certain information because we live in a time where information can be rewritten. Not fun. The core of neutron stars is composed of degenerate neutron matter, and you could kind of call the whole thing one single enormous atom, or argue that there are no atoms there at all. Ooh. I don't know anything about neutron stars. I know that they're scary. That's pretty much all I remember. Kerbal Space Program is a massive time sink. Yeah, I've been playing Stardew Valley. This is a pretty fun way to spend my time. Gotta get back into playing WoW. I kind of stopped playing WoW except for like a little bit on the weekends, and my partner needs my help with some stuff, so I gotta work on it a little bit more. Yawn. Well, goobers, my voice really hurts, and it has since before I started. So we got a nice 3.5 hour show. It's been real. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'm planning to see you all Sunday. Save some of your energy for me, because I'm going to absorb some of your energy in a spirit bomb on Sunday, so be ready. And we'll talk about politics. We'll talk about Hassan being detained at the airport by ICE. Very fun. I had a nearly eidetic memory before the lightning strike. Ooh. Neutron stars are basically neutrons that don't collapse from quantum degeneracy pressure. See Pauli exclusion principle. Fun. Again, more information that is just not going to stay. All right. Much love. Oh, see me on Takis tomorrow. I'll post in the Discord server. See me on Takis tomorrow with Arden if you want to come hang out for that. But yeah, until then, I'll see you next time.